Alright, there we go, we're in.
Bye everyone.
Sorry we're terribly late.
I know, by about a year.
Yeah.
Welcome to Ghastly Tales, everyone.
I don't know, I guess it wouldn't really be Ghastly Tales if it wasn't late or full of broken promises. It's kind of us in a nutshell.
And broken dreams.
Yes. Sorry.
Yes. So, yeah, this is us doing our first live stream since I think near the beginning of last year. I think that's right. So this is our 1 year anniversary of doing very little on the
It might actually be. I actually went back and looked through the live streams the other day, and I was like, "All right, let's find out when the last one I was." And I was
Can
like,
you open my bottle?
I can. I was scrolling back. I was like, "That can't be right," and I was like, "Yeah."
I just realised that I said that to you as if you're my carer.
Well, if the shoe fits.
What I mean is, I am so clumsy, so this would probably go everywhere. Anyway, Happy New Year to you all.
Yeah, Happy New Year to everybody.
I hope you're all doing well. We have missed you all greatly. I've just spilt beer all over my notepad. This is what I'm talking about. I can't do anything right. That's good. That's good. Good way to start. Yeah, we've. This is us. We keep saying we're back. This is us back. Yeah, Calum. This is us back.
Yeah, more or less. I think.
Why is your glass so much bigger than mine?
I can get you a bigger glass if
Why
you want.
is that?
I've poured that terribly.
Chatting me.
I've poured that so terribly. I've been so distracted looking at this that we've ended up with that. That's the most shameful beer I've ever poured in my life.
It looks like you've had dishwash.
Like fizzy liquid.
No,
like washing up
liquid in there.
Yeah.
And you ever had that where like a glass looks clean,
yeah,
and you put something in it,
I've fucked that up really badly.
Should I give that to this person or should I just?
It's like someone that's never poured a pint of Guinness before. I didn't tilt it, but oh fuck, this is going to be a long and extended process. This
Merry 2019.
Yeah.
Come, when you drink it.
Jesus. To your health, fucking hell.
Yours too.
Delicious. For people that are asking, this is a Whole Garden white beer. It's very nice, but it's better if you pour it correctly. How are we doing in terms of stream quality and everything? YouTube says bad, which I've never had before.
I know.
But it seems okay. But I don't know if that's like a wider critique rather than there you go.
Everybody hear us?
It
says good.
The health is good.
I know, that's good.
Great.
That's good. Wish my doctor would say that.
Charlie Chalk, it's been a while. How you doing?
I know, Charlie Chalk. I'm not going to start talking about the TV show Charlie Chalk.
No, I feel we should probably start telling people that we're live. We always forget to do that.
Hi everyone, we're live.
Yes. So how was everyone's Christmas and New Year? Because I think one thing I will say before we carry on, there is a few bigger Ghastly Tales projects kicking about at the moment that we need to finish off. So there is stuff coming. There's another Anime Nasties from Alan, and there's a spiritual successor to Martin's kind of Ghastly Tales of Scotland, and also me and Mike are going to be working on new stuff as well. So there's actually stuff coming. I know we've been saying that forever, but
some good stuff. I'm watching.
Stephen,
right now.
How you doing?
I'm watching right now as we write. I actually think that as I get older, I'm losing that part of my brain that interacts with technology.
Yeah, but you also think the Spectrum is good.
The Spectrum is amazing.
That's a terrible thing.
Spectrum. You ever had one?
We are
Best
from Glasgow, in Scotland.
Yes. As opposed to Glasgow. Actually, there are other Glasgows, aren't there? Right.
Someone specifically asked where we were in Scotland.
I'm tweeting this out.
Yeah, I'll Facebook it. Terribly sorry about this, guys. In the meantime, let us know how everyone's Christmas and New Year went, and we can rate you accordingly. It's a competition now.
What was the best and worst thing that happened to you over the festive season?
Yeah, give us content, please.
Yeah, I know. So we got a couple of things prepared, I think, for this.
I think it's mostly going to be
fair
to our apology.
What happened was, I thought Calum was preparing stuff, and Calum thought I was preparing stuff. I mean, Calum only set all this up, and did all the technical stuff. So if it fails, also, it's not my fault. It's all on him. All on him. Look at
personal space.
Look at that beautiful.
What is Glasgow like? Joseph Hartwell's asking. He's English, by the way.
Have you seen Mad Max 2? No, it's
rubbish.
It's lovely. Glasgow's a great place. A little bit rough around the edges, but that gives it part of its charm.
Depends where you go.
And it's a dark and stormy night, which is a great night for ghost stories and horror stories, which we're not going to be doing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know.
So yeah, it's a great night to go and watch someone else's channel. that's definitely good. What do I say on? It's been that long, isn't it? I'm saying I can't interact with technology anymore.
Just write internet. We're on it.
I know. Streaming. I know my face.
Remember us. So
what's the chat saying, right?
The chat are saying, is it better than Aberdeen? Yes, it's better than Aberdeen. Aberdeen's a terribly depressing place these days because it was mostly built on like oil and fishing, and both of them are going tits up. So it's a bit of a ghost town. So maybe you might dig this.
It's not really a ghost town. People didn't just up and leave. Like
a lot of people did.
Some of the industry it's collapsed.
It's fucked.
But there's bits of Aberdeen that are lovely. Have you ever been to like Aberdeen uni campus? It's like Hogwarts.
Yeah, no. But again, so are most in Scotland. Edinburgh's like that, Glasgow's like that.
I had to go to Strathclyde, which is like
a technical college.
Yeah, so...
Though the new campuses are very good.
What I got instead was a hill, about this angle, with all the buildings on it. So
good for cardio.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't tell now because I've been out of education for some time.
As you can tell from my spelt form.
See you later, Callum.
Yeah, no, sorry, I'm just making an adjustment.
What's the adjustment that you're making? I am very pasty, and I know this. I don't get out enough. Plus, I live in Scotland, so with the light on me, I probably look like Christopher Lee now.
No, it's true. I should have changed it. I'll change it to a warmer light for next time. I didn't realise you were so touchy about it. Someone's asking how married life is treating you, and also he's got a small child as well. Which is
that my wife? Is that my wife?
Yeah.
It's great.
So please, someone take my wife.
Take my wife. Take my wife. No, it's lovely.
This is
good.
embarrassing.
It's good. Well, we have a baby, so just turned 1 year.
Yep.
My daughter, it's hard. It is hard, but it's definitely worth it.
This is such a bad idea.
I know. Like I can't speak and tweet at the same time.
No, that's fine. That's alright. I can continue to talk. I've been to Edinburgh. No Scots there. That is correct. Edinburgh's a weird place. It's kind of like Disneyland in a way because there's so many tourists and stuff come through it, and it's so built for tourists. Most of the time you'll go around, you'll never meet another Scottish person. There's a bit of a kind of a bitter hatred, I guess, between Glasgow and Edinburgh. They kind of hate each other. Glasgow's the biggest city in Scotland, and Edinburgh's the capital. And there's just because it's got a castle, but there's kind of a long-standing rivalry between the two, and both people are bitter is probably the word.
I don't know. Do you think so? There's a bitter rivalry.
I think there
for
is.
you because you
no, not exclusive. No, I know it's not just me that's perpetuating.
Because you work in Edinburgh and you live in Glasgow, but you're not from Glasgow, Callum. You're not an actual Glaswegian. Actually, technically, you are, aren't you?
I was born here. I lived here for most of my life. That's fine.
Fair enough.
Do you know any single Scots? My fiance's sister really wants to marry a Scottish sister.
my fiance really looking for someone else.
I'm glad you called in, Joseph, because we've got someone on the line right now. We'll put some feelers out, Joseph. We'll see what we can do.
I would say 66% of Ghastly Tales is single.
No, there's 4 of it. Wait, you mean you called Mick?
Of course I'm including Mick.
Right.
Mick, if you're watching this, I'm really sorry.
Sorry, that's why for a second I was like, numbers don't count up. Okay. Well, you don't know that Mick is single. He's a dark horse.
That's true. So I
wouldn't make an assumption.
I think he would tell us, would you not? Would you not tell us?
He might. Not if people forget he exists. Like me.
Right.
Anyway.
Okay, I have tweeted.
It looks like you're still tweeting.
I am. Streaming now. Come join for horror and banter. Disclaimer, banter may not be included.
It's true.
And I hope I've actually tweeted the right YouTube.
So, I was going to speak to you about, I know there's a tradition, with you of maintaining the ghost story on Christmas Eve. And I know it's not exclusively you, but it's always historically in the UK, there's always been like a ghost story at Christmas, usually on TV. Last year it was Mr. James. There was a few Mr. James things on.
M.R. James.
And
Montague Rhodes,
yeah,
James.
spell it out. It's Mr. James. So there's a few M.R. James things on last year, but this year they actually commissioned like a ghost story for Christmas. It had like they created like their own mini ghost story for Christmas.
Is this the one with Simon
In the recording
Cowell?
studio, yeah. Which I didn't think was that great, but I have to say that's the first time I've seen them actually do something new for many years, because normally they just dig up Whistling I'll Come to You.
I haven't actually watched it. You're saying it was set in a recording studio?
Yeah.
Because there's one from the 70s.
No, it's
no, I know that, but I'm just wondering if it's a remake of. There's one in the 70s that's in a recording studio.
I think it's its own thing.
The guy goes home and starts hearing the voice of like a ghost basically in his house.
No, it's in the studio because of a guilty past, but it could well be, based on what you're describing there. It's not out with the realms of possibility that it's a remake, and they've just kind of changed the title a little bit.
I was about to go, we've hit 20 people watching, everyone, and then it went immediately down to 19.
I know, I think our real problem is that we always build up an audience for the live streams and people seem to somehow enjoy it, and then we go away for forever, and people just kind of forget about us.
The last year, I have to say, the last year has been really, for all of us, you know, between all of us, like job changes and big life changes, people moving about, and me having a baby, and you know, so the last year really was like, I think we released 12 videos, I think, over 2018. That was the year, wasn't it?
A generous one a month.
Right.
Yeah.
So we did do some stuff, but really last year was about downing tools, preparing some stuff for this year, hopefully, and now that we're all kind of more settled into our new routines, hopefully kicking on and doing some good horror related goodness. And what I would say is, I think what I would like to do with the channel is change something slightly, which is that we do all the storytelling stuff, and we'll continue doing that, and we do the film stuff, which is really the main reason we started Ghastly Tales, was to really make short films, then hopefully some feature films. But
I mean, it's the only reason I get cut around.
Alongside that, we used to do like movie reviews on the channel and stuff like that. So I think I would like to bring back some of that. Whether we do that as a group, or I've got some ideas for some series where I look at famous horror films and famous horror books. Just to bore you all, so you can all hit unsubscribe. So we might do some of that sort of stuff as well.
Someone's asking if you know of the channel Bedtime Stories.
I'm not sure. There are so many now. 2
channels being recommended: Bedtime Stories and Dark Histories.
Both sound familiar, but again, it's like, do you know what happened was that when some of my stories became popular before we started Ghastly Tales, I was lucky enough where a lot of YouTube channels started narrating them, and I made a point of like subscribing to all those channels and chatting to people, and you know, just thanking them for doing that with my work. And it kind of got to the point where I kind of lost track a little bit. There's really a handful of people that I still, you'll see on my Twitter account more, which is at Horror Mike. You see the narrators and other horror channels that I have a kind of relationship with. What are you doing, Cal?
I am amending the stream title. Please keep talking.
No, I refuse to talk. That's it. We have a game. I've prepared the game, and it's in honour of, I think, maybe the first live stream we ever did.
Right, was that when... Okay.
When it was just me and you.
Right.
Do you like now?
Much like
the
now.
Classic team. The dynamic duo. The terrible twosome.
For people's sins, I know.
The crap.
Joe Sullivan donated $5 and said, please review H.G. Wells' horror of your...
Oeuvre. Yeah,
Joe, that's very generous of you.
There's
no we're not on here expecting donations, but that's very kind of you to do so.
Very kind of you. Yeah, like I love H.G. Wells' work, so that would be great. It's a bit like, obviously, you know, the big hitters like War of the Worlds and The Invisible Man, and
I'm a massive fan of H.G. Wells, particularly for his really future-facing work. Like, if you go back, there's so much of his.
Say something else.
And there's a lot of stuff in terms of when you go back. He was actually really heavily involved in the scientific community in terms of he had a lot of friends who were scientists and stuff like that. So that's where he got a great deal of his inspiration from, and a lot of these kind of more futuristic ideas. Classic one example being like the land ships, for example, where a lot of people say that that's like he predicted the tank before it happened, and he had a friend in the scientific community who was working on stuff like that. So there's a lot of really interesting stuff.
Yeah, no, I mean, I absolutely, I would love to do. We've kind of talked about like Callum's sort of main interests are in filmmaking and sort of being, making documentaries and things like that.
I have read books.
No, I didn't mean it that way. I wasn't segueing from that.
Callum likes shapes and colours.
This is Callum. Here's a ball. Why don't you bounce it? No, what I was going to say was that what we have, like initially when I was thinking about doing the book reviews and the film reviews, it was just going to be kind of similar to some stuff I've done on other channels years ago, where I would be editing stuff together and with more kind of vlog type format. But we have talked about working on a couple of series of actually filmed documentaries, maybe about like 10 minutes a piece. So absolutely, we were talking about doing a series tentatively called Ghostwriters, that would be like a kind of, each episode would be like a sort of 10-minute film documentary about either a writer within supernatural fiction or a specific aspect of a writer's work. Like, for example, one of the ones that I've been writing and working on is Lovecraft's relationship with religion. Okay. And
let's not touch any racism.
Of course. Which I am touching on in that documentary.
Okay.
So,
good on you for not shying away.
Spoiler, it's not good. But H.G. Wells interestingly actually wrote some ghost stories, and just a few years ago I think they actually found a new one.
He's a brilliantly descriptive writer.
Not a new one that he just done, but one that
he's still out there working.
Yeah,
he's a brilliantly descriptive writer. I really like him. Can I just say quickly, I just put a link in the chat for the Discord. If any of you guys have never heard of it before, it's kind of like the evolution of forums, I guess. It's a brilliant place where you can go and talk and kind of chat to other people. There's tons of different topics. There's a few people from the Discord, and like Stephen, and that's probably the best Ghastly Tales update, because there's usually all one of us in it every day, and we're just kind of talking and have a laugh. And it's not exclusively horror. We talk about films. We've got like general chats, all kinds of stuff. Even Alan's running like an anime section of it. So if you don't have an account, you just sign up. It's free. If you do have an account, hope to see you there, because we have a lot of good times in there.
Yeah, I think we probably should do like a standalone video about the Discord.
Sure.
At some point. So will we play our first round of this game?
We certainly could.
Or you want to do something else?
No, I'm good. My only concern was I'd allured Michael here with the promise of ordering him food.
Yes.
Otherwise, we would have still been out waiting somewhere. And so I'm now thinking, would you like me to order you food just now, or do you think you're going to soldier through and we'll get something afterwards?
I think we're just going to get drunk.
Yep.
And then
stagger out afterwards.
Afterwards. No one wants to see me going like this with a burger.
It's true.
There's
Martin Yates in the chat. Remember that guy?
Martin Yates.
Aye, Martin Yates.
Aye, some Yates magic. He was supposed to be here. Where are you, Martin? Are you outside the door?
Let's not critique any members of Ghastly Tales for not turning up or honouring commitments. Martin at least said in advance, I don't think I'm going to probably make it. And lo and behold, he didn't. Whereas we're like, guys, I mean, the thing I feel most embarrassed about is the fact that we released that video in, was it September or October? I think it was September. I did that kind of like return to channel thing, and we did mean to keep that up. We just ended up getting like so busy. But we had projects at the time that we're still working on, but they will be coming.
Yeah, we have a lot of stuff actually filmed, a lot of stuff written, a lot of scripts. And anyway, this game. Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready for this game?
Well, I am.
Maybe the best game ever.
Yep.
No, it's not. It really isn't. It's a terrible game. But anyway, so this is in honour of, I think, the first live stream we ever did. I was good. It sounds dodgy.
Do you know what? I think this is the second. I think this is the second one.
What was it? Second one?
Yeah.
Well, is it not? Well, that's great.
Yeah,
that's just fantastic. This game is in honour of the second live stream we did.
Back when we used to dress up.
So we did a kind of. We had a game where it was kind of like villain versus villain, and we had 2 bowls with the names of famous monsters and creatures from horror lore on these pieces of paper, and then we chose one each, and then we discussed them. This actually sounds, that looks dodgy. We discussed them fighting each other and who would actually win in the sort of Titanic struggle. So this is similar, but this time we have monsters.
Right.
What did I call this? Personalities? No, wild card.
Wild
card, right?
Much like myself.
And we've got heroes.
Okay.
3 bowls.
Right.
Monsters, fairly self-explanatory. Right.
Wild
We're
card.
going to have all these mostly famous creatures from horror films. Mainly horror films. Excuse me, is a burp. That's lovely, isn't it?
Did I
hear that? So horror, horror creatures in this one, and then the wild card.
Right.
Instead of just having horror creatures versus horror heroes, we'll decide which one, how the hero would win, or whether the hero would win or not.
Right.
The wild card is, it's another person or creature, and you have to create a new horror villain out of these 2, an amalgamation of the properties. Right. Okay. And then we'll pick a hero to fight this horror creature, which you guys can name and we can name. Right. All right.
So we take this one and this one, we combine them, and then we fight them against that one.
Yeah.
Too long didn't read.
Right. Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. You ready?
Oh, the court magician.
Yes. It's the court baggage with you.
Court baggage, I know. That's
still one of the greatest. Still one of the greatest moments on any of the live
Thank
streams
you for
we've
that,
ever done. We have actually
even Martin's banging in.
I know. we still talk about that.
I know, we have dined off of that heartily.
Court baggage. Oh, so good. Right. Okay, so on you go, Cam. Pick one. Have a rummage around. Don't pick from the top.
I'll pick from the bottom. Right. Oh shit. Right, and then I pick one of them.
No.
So first we read this.
Show the people at home.
I know. We're gonna have next time. I'll have another camera set up. Do you know our biggest problem that we've got is, see, if we had like a dedicated space, which we're working on
planning
for Ghastly Tales, we would get a lot more stuff out. Yeah. But we just have to rearrange our houses every single time we do.
That's true.
Or the plural heath.
Yeah.
We have to rearrange our heath. Right. Okay. Samara.
Okay, so that is the vengeful spirit from the Ring franchise. Okay, so let's take a look here. I'll choose from the second bowl, the wild card, right?
Right.
Here we go. Pee-wee Herman.
Fucking hell.
Right.
Okay.
So what we have to do now is we have to amalgamate Samara.
So a ghost wanking in a cinema.
Samara from the that is true actually. The guy that played Pee-wee Herman did get caught masturbating in a cinema.
They strung him up though, to be fair. Like, he was at a place where other people were doing the same thing. It's hardly a Bill Cosby or a Kevin Spacey thing.
Though
to do a very quick segue, did anyone see the video that Kevin Spacey put out at Christmas?
That was terrifying.
Speaking of horror, to segue back, because what's interesting about it is it's 50% him, 50% him in character. And I've never actually seen the remake of House of Cards. People told me it was good, but obviously now it's kind of died to death. But yeah, that's a very strange video, and it's the kind of video I'm sure his lawyer was sitting at home with his family over Christmas, and it came up and he went,
wow.
"Fuck! Oh, shit, Kevin!"
Right. Okay.
Sorry. Yeah. Anyway.
When that peaks, does it distort on the stream?
No.
No. Okay.
Why? Did you see something? Did you see
red? It just went red.
Did you see like a little like it goes red there when it's Sorry.
So we've got Samara from the Ring franchise, and we've got Pee-wee Herman from the Pee-wee Herman franchise, right?
Right.
we have to create a new horror creature from those two.
Right.
Right. So first of all, what suggestions from the chat? Anyone got a name for this abomination?
Right.
This terrifying abomination. You can offer things as well. You need to do an impersonation of them.
Right. Pee Wee Samara. I suppose Wee Samara is not gonna.
Wee Samara is quite good. Wee Samara is quite good.
P ring.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay.
All right, P ring it is.
Right, P ring.
Wee P ring.
Okay, so P ring. What are the properties of Samara from the ring? What are her strengths and her weaknesses? Right. So
supernatural devotion to VHS.
Yeah. Right. So first of all, she has to. You have to watch the video first, right? So we say that's a property of Samara. She can't just come at you if you haven't watched the video.
Right. Okay.
That right, is it not?
Thing is, she'd be a bit useless these days because, well, actually, she would kind of exclusively kill off like hipsters.
So she watches.
That'd be great.
She has to get you to watch VHS.
Yeah.
Which is tricky.
How many people in the chat have still got a VHS player? Let's just put that out there. Let's see who's at risk.
I've got two of them.
At home?
Aye.
Like, actually in your house?
Oh, yeah, baby.
Like, but not set up.
Play them at the same time, mate.
Yeah. You've not been doing that to your child, have you?
One playing Thundercats.
It's like all the other kids are like, can we put a Blu-ray on? You're like, no.
Do you know, I put the real Ghostbusters on for my 1-year-old daughter.
Right.
Bit of a mistake.
Hated it.
No, it's bright and colourful and funny, and they all have wacky voices, and there's proton packs going off. But I actually forgot that the real Ghostbusters for a kids' cartoon is actually pretty scary. Probably not appropriate for a 1-year-old, so I had to turn it off. I was gutted.
Much better to go back to Peppa Pig and Daddy Pig being bullied.
Yeah, I know, that's true. Alright, so P-Ring, right? So Samara has so she has to get you to watch VHS, right? She can only turn up 7 days later.
Right. It's been a very, very long time.
And she lives down a well.
I'll just say I've only seen The Ring once, and it was when it came out.
And she scares you to death. That's how she gets you, right? Alright, okay. What are Pee-wee's properties? Rides a hilarious bike.
Yeah. Irritating.
Yeah, right. So Pee-wee Herman rides a hilarious bike.
Yeah, has a very good his tequila dance is excellent. He's very good at dancing on a bar top at very high shoes.
Wears a suit.
Alright, just ignore that one.
Has a daft laugh.
That infers to me that's good coordination if he's capable of doing that.
So P-Ring's properties then would be, this is just a dry run, right? P-Ring would have to force you to watch the VHS.
Right.
She rides a hilarious bike while wearing a suit, has a daft laugh, and lives down a well. Right, are we happy with that?
That's fine as a basis.
Pick the hero.
That one's partially open. I'm going to flip that over. Okay.
Let's see.
If he was good at it, he wouldn't have got caught. That's true. Yeah, that's a fair point. The old stealth wank.
Right, okay, go.
C. Kolchak.
Ah,
Charlie Kolchak.
Do you know what? That's not a very good one because a lot of people might not know who that is.
What you put in the bowl?
I know that, but I thought maybe pick another one. We'll go for Kolchak later.
Right, he's got his own theme tune.
Yeah, he does.
Right.
Right.
Penn and Teller.
Okay, right. So Penn and Teller. How are Penn and Teller going to fight P-Ring?
So a mute guy and a conspiracy theorist.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Well, I've always said that Teller is far more skilled than Penn Jillette, and it's true.
But I think Penn Jillette admits that.
Yeah, he does.
When it comes to sleight of hand.
Because he's had to, because I called him out.
Yeah.
Online. Taylor.
Bullshit, Penn.
You need to go back. There's a really good magic trick that Taylor does with a rose. I can't remember the actual name of it, but it's all like done in shadow. It's really, really impressive. But I think it's one of the few magic tricks that no other magicians ever worked out his process.
I'm so hungry.
Stay true to yourself.
Like a couple hours of this before I can eat anything.
Right, Martin's away for his dinner. Martin, enjoy yourself.
Nice seeing you guys in the chat.
You probably just
Fuck
sent that
you,
message
man.
after
Fuck
you said
you.
you're hungry.
I know.
Sorry.
I'm so hungry. Right. Okay. So how is Piran going to be defeated by Penn and Teller? What other skill sets?
Joe's also pointing out that Pee Wee gets one wish per show from his genie.
Oh, Joe is in
Deep in the old Pee Wee lore.
Deep into the Pee Wee Herman lore. I like it. I like it.
Who was the woman that played she came back and did something else. The woman that was like his next door neighbour that used to come over. She's like famous for something else. And I can't remember what it is.
Do you know, I have to say, as much as I put Pee Wee Herman into that pot, I am not that familiar with this. I mean, like, I remember seeing bits of Pee Wee's Big Adventure, and that's the film that persuaded people to let Tim Burton direct Batman. So
Danny Elfman soundtrack,
Yeah.
as made famous by Hongo Bongo.
there you go. So yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot of fun things in it, but the TV show is like extremely innuendo heavy, and that's probably why it all culminated in a cinema.
I just always think of Eminem's dressed up as Pee Wee Herman.
Oh fuck!
And the
What
Just
track
Lose
was
It.
that for?
Just
Oh,
Lose
that's
It.
right. Yeah, go crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I
okay,
used
sorry.
to, years ago, back in my clubbing days, one of my friends used to do an impersonation of him, and you would sort of hear it on the dance floor, off in the distance, like a mating call. And it always made me laugh.
So to get back to your game, Penn and Teller would surely use their
trapdoor.
powers of illusion and deception.
A trapdoor. Every magic trick ends in the use of a trapdoor, or requires the use of a trapdoor.
What, even card tricks?
Even card tricks. Like,
I'm done.
when you get when you get the
Have you
trick wrong,
taken the wrong-
person just have to hit a button and the person just
Is there a
drops down.
chance you've taken the wrong message from the Prestige?
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
every David Bowie, every magic trick ends in a trapdoor. Where's my trapdoor, Angie?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Prestige is great.
It is a good movie. Though David, I mean, I love David Bowie in anything, but casting him as Nikola Tesla was probably a slightly...
I always think someone should do an edit of that film where he's Nicholas Tesla, and then
To Labyrinth?
well, it disappears and then appears at the start of Fire Walk With Me.
Right.
No?
No.
Okay.
Really?
then.
Stephen, are you saying you avoided The Prestige? It's definitely worth a look. Do you know, it's a funny film because it came out at the same
It's
time
not
as...
funny. It's not a comedy.
No, but it
No, I'm
came
just
out...
saying, don't think it's
Yeah,
a comedy.
it's not a feel-good romp. But it came out at the same time as The Illusionist, which was an
Yeah.
interesting film on its own, and The Illusionist fucking tanked just due to
Yeah.
like bad, and nobody remembers that film, and it's all right.
Is that one with Ethan Hawke?
Edward Norton. You
Edward
see, that
Norton.
says it all. The fact
No,
that
there's
they're just
one.
transport.
No, there's another one. There's another.
Aaron Fleck,
another
welcome.
one. Oh, Aaron, how are you? There's another. You just missed Martin. Just missed Martin Yates.
That's
Aaron
strange,
Fleck and Martin Yates is the match made in heaven for telling a good story.
Joe Sullivan says that Penn and Teller should trap P-Ring on the desert bus.
That might work.
Did you just burp?
Yeah, sorry.
That's quite a strong, crispy flavour you've built up there.
It's the Joker.
Oh, Jesus wept.
So, I think we can all agree that this game is rubbish, and we're going to continue
No, carry on.
for the next 2 hours.
Yeah, that's it. I know. You're locked in now.
So, do we actually think that Penn and Teller would be able to beat P-Ring? I don't really think so. I mean, they're smart guys.
But
They're good entertainers, Carl.
Right.
They're good entertainers.
I think
But
what
they're
would
not-
be
they're not
interesting
defeating
about them is after they were as they were dying, they'd be able to tell them how they'd managed to kill them.
Yes.
Because you know it's like Penn and Teller do that show where they guess how magicians do their tricks.
Yeah.
Fool Us.
Fool
It's
Us,
called.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've watched bits of that on YouTube many a time. Mostly when they get fooled. I just like watching people get fooled.
That's true. Not often it happens, but do you know what? It's a funny one too.
Should have been Darren Brown. If it was Darren Brown against P-Ring.
All he does is psychologically traumatise me. My favourite Darren Brown sketch he ever did.
The zombie one. That was nuts.
No, it was the one where he convinced the girl she was dead, and she had an out of body experience. So he convinced her she'd had a car accident, and then he got a body double to lie on the road, and then he got an ambulance and like her family and stuff to come in, and they were all standing around going, oh god, she's dead. And then they had her stand next to it and try and talk to people, and everyone ignored her, and thought she was having a disconnected, like, out of body experience. And she could see her own body, and after it, like, they had like this disclaimer at the end of it where it was like she suffered no significant psychological trauma after the event. It's like, she's a case now.
The one that I always remember was the one with the guy and they have the video game cabinet and it's a zombie shooter.
Well, that's right,
and
he goes into it, like a warehouse or something.
Like puts the guy into a trance allegedly.
Yeah,
and then moves him into a warehouse where he's like inside the video game and he's got people dressed up as zombies coming at him and he's shooting everybody, and it's as if it's real, and then he puts the guy into a trance again and then moves him back to the front of the cabinet, and then they ask the guy, they're like, how was the game, what was it like? And I'll never forget the guy's face. He's like yeah, it was good, it was like it was real. He did this thing with his face. It was like it was
Vietnam.
Just that wee flash made me think Derren Brown has just created a psychopath.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you'll never chase that high again. Speaking about zombies, can I very quickly say,
you're all zombies.
In the Discord yesterday, I was talking to Stephen about it. If anyone's into gaming, a demo came out yesterday of the new Resident Evil 2 remake, and it's glorious. Right. So glorious. I mean, I was going to do it anyway, but as soon as I've finished, you're only allowed to play it for 30 minutes, and you can only play it once.
Right.
And then it's locked. You can't ever play it again.
Why is that?
It's like the demo. It's called a one-shot demo. You get one shot of it, and that's it. 30 minutes, and you're done.
Well, why would they do to you after the 30 minutes?
You can't play it anymore. They come round your house. Two Japanese men with big pipes. Yeah, right in your hands. But as soon as I finished it, I went and bought it. It looks like it's going to be absolutely amazing. Really? Stephen's saying it's great as well.
He's a man in the know, so I will take his word for it. Alright, so votes in the chat then. Who's going to win? P-Ring
versus Penn and Teller.
I think this is a
foregone conclusion.
Foregone conclusion.
Jackie boy, how are you? It's been a while, my friend.
How are you, Jackie?
It's interesting, actually. I just recently... Yeah, that's a good point. You can only play as Leon. You can't play as Claire in the demo. You can in the main game. But yeah, I actually only... funnily enough, I've been meaning to play it for years, and I only actually finished Resident Evil 2 a few months ago. Never played it as a kid.
No?
Nope.
I was always more... I know everyone swears by the second game, but I was a more Resident Evil 1 guy.
Yeah, but you like the mansion. It's a more classic set piece. Yeah. That's why. Yeah. Though when you go back, the first game's a bit muff.
The acting's some of the best acting I've ever seen.
You were almost a Jill sandwich. It's brilliant.
But it was so intense in places though because you had such limited ammo.
Yeah.
What I hate though is the fact that like, I mean, it really is. I don't want to say a rip off, but it pretty much is of Alone in the Dark. Do you know what I mean? Like that first Alone in the Dark game.
You mean like when you the
whole mechanics,
geometric,
the whole mechanic,
yeah,
the whole thing. I mean, and you have a similar thing in Alone in the Dark's a fantastic game.
Do you know?
I really want to start doing stuff on our Twitch channel and do some.
Well, we will, but the genesis of Resident Evil is actually from a Japanese game called Sweet Home in the NES. It's like a 4-person like co-op. Well, it's kind of a Final Fantasy type RPG horror set in a mansion on the NES.
Was it not originally going to be a remake of it? Or something
yeah, so that was meant to be a thing, and then they created like a whole new thing. Good old Shin Megami. Did you play the PS3?
Silent Hill 2 is a classic. Do you know, Jackie? Yeah. The interesting thing, well, maybe not interesting, but for me was that Silent Hill was one of the most memorable gaming experiences I ever had. It was the first time I ever played a game where I was like, I'm not sure if I'm enjoying this, but I'm compelled to play it because it freaked me out, right? And the only other Silent Hill game I've played is the remake of Silent Hill 1 for the
Shattered Memories,
which I really liked because the whole point of that game is that you take a psychological evaluation at the start of the game. You're in like this psychiatrist's office, and you have to answer all these questions.
Like actually answer it.
And based on the questions, the game supposedly anyway changes for you based on that. But one of the best things about it's kind of a bit like the Penumbra series and Amnesia and things like that, which is that in Shattered Memories you don't have a weapon.
Right.
You can only run from these creatures, and it gets really, really intense.
And that doesn't change regardless of what psychological profile it gives you?
I don't think so.
Okay.
And I didn't think I would like that, because I like shooting undead as much as
the next guy. Yeah,
you know,
that's that guy in the cabinet.
It's a favourite pastime of mine. But I remember getting Silent Hill for the PS1. My brother bought me it. I've probably told this story in the chat. One of the best Christmases ever. I must have been...
Tell it again.
I must have been... I don't know what age. I'd have been 15, 16, something like that when it came out. And
I thought you were asking me. I wasn't there.
Yeah. And my brother had been working this job at a nightclub, and he doing like the lights for a DJ, and I think maybe he'd had 2 jobs, but anyway, the way it turned out is he ended up making a lot of money over in the run up to Christmas, and he just decided that he was going to buy like me, mum, and dad really, really nice Christmas presents. Didn't tell us at all. We had no idea. I wasn't, I'm expecting like a book or a DVD or something like that for Christmas, and which I would be happy with. I love a good DVD or a good book. Not a DVD. There weren't DVDs then.
Or what? Yeah, no. I mean, if you got a DVD back then, that would.
My brother Martin hands me this box, a wrapped box, and I just opened it up, and I just saw the PlayStation logo, and I couldn't believe it.
Blow your tiny mind.
15-year-old Michael's mind could not fathom that he'd just been given a PlayStation 1. I thought my days of getting given expensive consoles had ended, because maybe a year or 2 previous I'd been given an Atari Jaguar, which I feel terrible about, because my mum and dad, at that time we didn't have a lot of money, and it was really expensive.
Do you want to say
sorry? We got it through a
Do you want to take this off?
We got it through a catalogue, which means that like the interest on it and all that would have been ridiculous, and paying it off every month. And I'm sorry, mum and dad, but but do you know what? It had Aliens vs Predator on it. It still had.
That's meant to be a great version of it.
And the version of Wolfenstein 3D was good on. But anyway, Silent Hill was one of the
Before you carry on, Jackie Boy wants to know if you had a good Christmas.
Yes.
I did too. Carry
on. And Silent Hill was a game that I didn't really know anything about, but it was one of the games that my brother had bought along with it. And I just remember that Christmas. I remember also getting a couple of Beatles albums that year, and that Christmas is just the memory of 2 weeks of me sitting in a darkened room playing a PlayStation 1
and listening to the Beatles.
Silent Hill and the Beatles don't go well together.
No, that's true. But it has its own soundtrack, which is excellent. Hello, Nightmare Files.
Yeah, so that's the end of that story.
That's how you're getting Nightmare Files.
Nightmare Files.
Join the queue.
No, go fuck yourself, Nightmare Files.
Kirsten as well. Hello, Kirsten.
Hello, Kirsten. So yeah, that's the
Joe Sullivan said he had a Sega Saturn. Yeah, the Sega Saturn kind of got shat on a bit. So Sega kind of because the Dreamcast was amazing, but they kind of fucked people's confidence because they made about 40 made up consoles between the Mega Drive and the Dreamcast.
Did they not also make I don't know all that much about it, but did they not also make a big mistake with the Dreamcast, which was the modem not a bit shoddy on it? And they'd made a big thing about it, it was going to be online play, you had the first.
I think what killed the Dreamcast was the fact that it was fairly easy to make fake games for it, and then once they worked that out, they were just fucked.
Thank you for introducing me to Joker. It's really nice.
It's good beer. Martin's a massive fan of Joker. You know, I'm tempted to say that Martin might have even introduced me to it, but I'm not sure.
I get bad headaches from things, and it just doesn't seem.
Yeah, Stephen's saying Dreamcast got done by piracy. Yeah, I seem to remember. Though, funnily enough,
did you not have to get it chipped or anything?
No, like you could just burn CDs and put it in it. But funnily enough, the Sega Saturn that came before it only got broken like last year.
I remember hearing about that it was that not one of the reasons why like emulation was
like it had like multiple weird components in it. People were just like, fuck this.
That was the weird thing with the Atari Jaguar as well. Like it was like felt like this cobbled together system where they were like it's 64-bit, but it was two 32-bit processors, and it had all these different co-processors as well that dealt with different aspects of the games.
Yeah, I think everything's a bit more homogenized, but back then they used to like feed people a bit of lies. All you needed to do was like go 32-bit, and then you had this kid with a backwards baseball cap on going, whoa!
Atari Jaguar's slogan was "Do the math."
Yeah,
because it was 64-bit. And then you got the game Cybermorph with it. And
where did you learn to fly?
Oh God,
horrible.
Nightmares about that.
Anyway, let's move on from that depressing topic.
Nightmares about
Silent Hill 2. That's a funny one though, because do you know that they released an HD version of it, and it's fucked because they actually deleted the original source code for Silent Hill 2. It's gone. It's just gone.
Really?
So the PS2 version is the most complete version that's ever existed, and basically. The subsequent ones were made from like an... Yeah, no. Fuck you. Yeah, take that back. Court Magician.
Where's the Court Magician? What's saying? Is he gone?
It's a she.
Sorry.
We've had this debate multiple times. Sorry, Court Magician.
I'm sorry.
He's the fucking court baggage tonight, I'm telling you that much.
Court baggage. I am the court baggage. Okay, so what I would like to do is open up to the chat. Has anybody watched any good horror films recently? Any recommendations?
Not Bird Box. That's fucking rubbish.
I've heard it's pretty bad, but I can't even speak. But Bird Box. But it's also been extremely popular as well because of the Bird Box challenge.
Yeah, which is
do things blindfolded. What is it with films at the moment? Are all seem to be to do with like handicapping your senses.
Well, Bird Box very much feels that it came off the back of the success of A Quiet Place.
Don't Breathe, Quiet Place. There's a couple of others as well. Hush was another one, which Hush was actually not too bad. Don't Breathe was not too bad either. Anyone?
Yeah, Stephen actually knows quite a bit about Shudder. He's been, which I keep meaning to check out, which is the horror streaming service.
Yeah, I had it for a month or two.
What was your thoughts?
And then I cancelled it recently for monetary reasons.
Right, okay.
Do you know?
But while you had it, were you impressed?
I got an Amazon box, like the Fire TV.
Oh yeah,
which is really good.
Fire Stick.
No, it's the
full box.
The box thing.
The full box, guys. Monetary problems. He says he's got the fucking full box.
No, not really. Like serious money problems. No.
Yeah.
No, what happened on that is that it's just too easy to like subscribe to things on it, like add channels to like your Prime subscription. And I realised at the start of this month that I had like I think like 4 or 5 subscriptions to different channels
So explain that to me. Like, what do you mean by channels?
Like for example, there was one which had what was the name of it? Something Factory. I'm having a block. It's basically a distributor anyway, and they have like old TV shows and old films.
So do you mean by subscribe to it, you can just subscribe and so they just give you it? You don't have to pay an extra fee, or
you basically there are channels
right
on Amazon Prime where you like Shudder's one of them, BFI is another one, British Film Institute, and there's a bunch of others, and you can basically click subscribe, and depending on the channel it can be like $2.99 a month that you added on to your Prime subscription.
Shit.
Or $4.99.
No wonder you're fucked.
Right. Just subscribing to
whoever donated that $5 earlier, you know where the fuck that's going. Christ.
Yeah, I know. So But yeah, it's just too easy to listen. And the thing is, really, they get you, don't they? They get you with like, oh, you get like a month's free or whatever on it.
Can I just talk about an interesting thing currently in society about the fact that whenever you're buying shit online these days, it's so much easier to buy shit online than it is to physically go and buy something. And I don't mean like in terms of the fact it's less effort. There's actually a weird psychological connect where you're like, oh, that's just a few pounds, that's fine.
Yeah.
Take that. I'll just take this, take that. Before you realise all that shit adds up. But because you're not physically having to take money in your pocket, you don't give a fuck.
Yeah. I've had to watch that. I realised like last year, like I work as a freelance writer, and like the first half of last year was like, it's always feast or famine when you're working that sort of business, and so you have like really good times and really quiet times. So you really need to put the money aside for the quiet times. Well, you know this. You worked freelance for years as well. And
I think someone just beeped at us because
yeah.
they can see it. Sorry, dude.
The first 6 months of last year was like one of the best 6 months I'd had.
Do you want another beer?
But then the second 6 months was quite quiet. And that first 6 months, when I think back to some of the purchases I made, I'm just kind of I go on. When I think back to some of the purchases I made, I'm like, where did that? Why did I spend? And it's like
them, not me.
Sorry, it's like you've got Amazon Prime as well, so you get like free. That's Callum's nose you're hearing, by the way. You get like free delivery on things, and that just sneaks up on you. I feel really sorry for the delivery drivers though, and the Amazon employees. I mean, it's like I see the delivery drivers come to me all the time. My wife says to me that I order like online too much, as opposed to, like, I recently discovered, Callum, that my local supermarket, Tesco, will deliver to my house for £2.50.
I remember you telling me this, lazy bastard.
Right.
Where's your beers?
So some people over there, so like I'll order my week's shopping. I can't believe I'm talking about my week's shopping on a live stream.
You've done it now.
And it's like, because the Tesco supermarket is like a 5-minute walk from my house, it's like £2.50 to deliver. And it's just like, and one of my friends who lives in the same town that I live in said to me, he's like, that's a bit ridiculous that you're doing that, like just go. And I do still go to the shops, but it's like, right, if I go and do a shop, I'm terrible, like I take an hour to do my shop, and that's just when I'm in the place. So that's my justification for it, is that they just deliver it to your house.
I love the fact though, you've always said the fact, you're like, oh, sometimes I feel I don't get enough of it out enough, and you're like, yeah, the shopping trip's a big part of it, and now you're just like, fuck the shopping trip. Fuck it.
Yeah, being a writer is so it isolates you so much. So like, you do have to. Yesterday, that gets me onto, and we will get to the film recommendations in a second, but that gets me onto a topic. Some of you that follow me on Twitter at Horror of Mike may have seen the tweet that I put out yesterday. A few people seem to find it quite funny, but it was I went to a coffee place yesterday, right? I decided part of my New Year's resolution was like at least once a week, maybe twice, I'll get out of the house and I'll go and do my writing in a coffee shop, right? I know it's a total hipster thing to do, right?
No, but well, you really, mean like getting out and getting a bit of social interaction?
You're not really. You're being tricked into thinking you have friends. The person serving you isn't your friend. So I went to there's a Costa that's opened up in Uddingston where I live, and it's quite a big one.
Right.
So I went in there. And first of all, like I go in straight away and I'm like, oh Jesus, it's so busy, right? Like there's, but look, you know, people. You do though. You end up when you work constantly like on your own, you do end up getting a little bit kind of allergic to people. I think it's not a good thing.
Yeah.
So I go into the Costa. I'm like, it's so busy, and I'm a little bit kind of nervous. I'm kind
counting your toothpicks.
Kind of a little bit nervous. I'm kind of a little bit nervous. I'm kind of like, right, I don't even know like what to order or what to, you know. So anyway, but I go up and I get a mocha, right?
Right.
Because I had one of them once and I like.
That's your drink of choice.
Not really, but I just had it once.
You had it once and you liked it. That's how easily allowed.
My friend Chris introduced me to it, and I was like, that's
Chris, who's been in one of our films.
Yes, and what was the name of it? Blackout.
That's the one.
And In the Dead of Night, which he co-directed. Anyway,
That's right.
so I went into Costa.
Right.
I'm just telling boring stories about my day-to-day life now. So it was busy.
You said this was funny.
Was
You better
busy.
bring it back.
No, I think the tweet was funnier than the
Right.
actual story. But anyway,
Right.
I went.
Okay.
So I ordered it. I didn't know what size to order because I don't go into coffee shops very often.
Tall,
so I
venti,
just said-
grande.
I just said large.
Is that actually that might be Starbucks? Sorry.
Yeah, I think it is. I just said large, right? And I got given. I'm not lying, right? It was that. Right. Now the thing is as well. I'm sensitive to caffeine,
Right.
but I felt like I couldn't then say, "Listen, that's ridiculous. You can't give me something that size." It was so big that it had handles on either side of it, like a football trophy, right? I had 2 handles on it.
Did not.
I swear. In fact, I might even have taken a picture of it because I was like, I can't believe this shit. Right? So, and then I went back. So I was looking for somewhere to sit with this ridiculous bowl of coffee, and I see a table, and I go to sit down at it, and I'm like, right, okay. And as I sit down at it, all I hear is this voice that says, I'll just sit in front of you. Right? That's all I hear. I just hear this voice. I'll just sit in front of you. So I sit down at this single table, and this guy sits down in front of me.
But you said the place was really busy.
No, yeah, it was busy, but there were other tables within, like, I could have jumped out and touched one of them, right?
Right. Okay.
He sits in front of me
Right. What's his?
and drank his coffee, and I just sat there.
Did he try and talk to you during the time, or
No,
was he just
I
deadly
put
sad?
I had my earphones with him.
Right. Okay.
I just stared at him. Now, I'm all for meeting new people. Right? That's not coffee shop etiquette though, is it?
Do you want me to give you a story that'll make you feel better? That happened yesterday.
But just
No, you're right. It's bullshit.
Right.
It's almost as
The
bad
guys-
as you sitting down in a thing where it's like 2 seats here, 2 seats here, and then the person you're with, assuming they're not your partner, comes and sits right next to you. That's the most fucked up. That's the most fucked you can get.
Right, so I'm just saying that for someone who is
Dingleberry says, "Why was this in my recommendations?" Mate, I don't know. YouTube's fucked.
Dingle, I know.
Stop hitting the table.
Sorry.
YouTube's fucked. To be honest, like
Listen,
it gives you terrible recommendations.
Right.
I'm sorry I'm sorry you've had to see this shit, mate. I'm really sorry.
So we had a terrible recommendation.
Well, Dingleberry's like, why was this in my recommendation?
I know. You click on it and all of a sudden someone's telling a story about sitting down
Yeah.
at a table and Costa coffee.
Sorry, Dingleberry, we fucked up.
Dingle, I'm really sorry, mate. Or you could leave, or you could stay.
Dingleberry says he likes scary stories, but I've never seen this story. You know what? There's scary stories on this channel, but the live stream is more of
It's really
an
scary.
exhibition of
Yeah.
ourselves.
I think that's one thing. It's like people come to the live streams, and sometimes I think they do expect to this is a channel that does horror films and does original like horror stories and things like that. But
can I just say though, I think that the majority of the live streams on a lot of the horror channels are cop-outs. They're just like the same stories.
Hey.
I'm not saying anyone in particular. What?
Hey.
What?
Let's not say anything we can't take back.
Well, it's true.
So, yeah. Well, I think
If you're restreaming the same stories that are already existing,
but YouTube are now they're nuking those channels because duplicate content.
there you go.
But anyway, yeah, like I think people sometimes come to the live streams and expect us to hear some ghost stories. We do it. I mean, we've done how many live streams have we done now?
28. This is the 28th.
This is not the 28th live
is the
stream.
28th live
What am I
stream.
doing with my life? Oh God!
Yeah.
No, that's good.
know.
I'm actually quite proud of that.
Yeah.
Because I remember when we got to the point we realised we'd done 24 hours of live streams.
I know. Lucky you get. That was a long time ago because some of our live streams are about
Like
4.5 hours.
yeah.
I know.
Yeah, like I think we just like to have fun with the YouTube channel as well, and I think it is a little bit difficult sometimes. As you see some channels and they do like horror content, and then so they try to keep everything macabre and dark, and it's. I think when it gets to that point, it kind of comes off as a little bit insincere sometimes.
I think though as well, some
like
horror, some of the channels are distinct personalities. It's one reader doing stuff like that. I think what's in Ghastly Tale, well, I nearly said what's interesting about it. I don't want to put words in anyone's mouth, but I think what's interesting about Ghastly Tales is there's kind of a collective of different people doing stuff, and the live streams is kind of our way, I guess, of showing the people behind the. So do you want me to angle that more so you can read it?
No, it's fine.
That's very kind of you to sub to us. Check out Dingleberry because there's a large collection of narrations and stuff like that. There's a lot of horror content on it. But...
I'm looking there at your... Okay, so my name is Michael Whitehouse. So if you go on Dr. Creepin's, you've listed Dingleberry, you've listed channels that you listen to, right? So there's a couple there. Coops McPasta's done a number of my stories. Dr. Creepin's done a number of my stories.
This is who I am. This is who I am. Don't you ever, you ever question me again? All those channels, there'd be nothing. No, it's fine.
I'm trying to say that may be the reason why it got recommended to you is because maybe you watched a narration with my name in it, and then YouTube says, "Do you know what Dingleberry would really like? That guy who wrote that story with his friend talking nonsense."
YouTube's funny though because. It'll do stuff where like it'll in the recommended channels at the bottom of it, it will recommend like two channels that hate each other. Like you'll be on a channel who has had like beef with another channel, and in the recommendations down the bottom they'll put another channel they've hated. So they do weird stuff.
I really miss on YouTube. I was thinking about this the other day. Do you remember replies, like proper replies? Like if someone did a video, you could like you could click reply.
So we forget about Megan Smarkles and the rest of them, the actual replying girls.
Right. That was kind of after they took or round about the time they took away replies. But yeah, I do miss actually being able to like reply to a video, and your video goes directly underneath that video, and then.
It's a shame because in terms of like infrastructure, like you can do amazing stuff. We can do a live stream, which like you can't really play down. You can't really play down how...
Do you guys have beef with any authors or channels? Well...
Not anymore. No.
Not really.
Nah.
Myself and Slime Beast, I've had a few altercations online over the years. But, you know, I do admit that there's a couple of things to do with that over time I kind of thought about and realised that I was probably in the wrong. I think Slime Beast is probably the only person that I've argued with in the horror community.
In the horror community, maybe you've had a couple of.
Right.
Well, you had you had other channels, but no, I think you guys are all right. I think you've.
Well, we've never really spoke, or I don't think we've like. I think we've kind of unofficially buried the hatchet, but not like we don't.
That's not really what we're about, though. Like we don't actively go out to.
Like we want to tell stories. We want to write. We want to make films. I mean, we've made how many short films have we made? No. Chilling Tales. Well, I like Chilling Tales for Dark Nights. Joe Sullivan says because Craig's a handful. I think what Craig is someone who's really passionate about Chilling Tales for Dark Nights, and what he does is he tries to do loads of projects at once, and I'm a bit guilty of that as well. Sometimes I try to do more than one project, and sometimes you can spread yourself a little bit too thin. But in defence of Craig, I think he's trying to find where he can take Chilling Tales to the next level. Like find like, is it books? Is it is it like radio plays? Is it films? Is it, what is it? So he'll try like all of them at once. And like I say, I've been a bit guilty of that as well. But my impression of Craig is that he seems like a nice guy who's like really really passionate about what he does. I do think there's been a couple of times when maybe he's said things about other narrators and stuff like that, but like Callum was saying, try not to really get involved in that too much. But I don't really. Do you like Mr. Nightmare? I know his stuff a little bit, yeah. But as I was saying actually earlier on, there's so many narrators now.
It's hard to keep track of
Mr. Nightmare's quite a big one. A really big one actually, I think. If it's the one I'm thinking of, I think he's got like 1 million, 2 million subs, something like that.
I've heard of him.
But I got to a point several years ago when the horror community was really kind of kicking off on YouTube, where I realised that I was putting in far too much time listening to things and watching things rather than actually writing stuff myself and doing stuff myself. And so you have to come to, you only have so much time. Like I was saying earlier as well, it's like I've got a family and you don't have a lot of time.
How many of the people that are on YouTube are actually writing their own stuff? I know a lot of people are kind of... I know there's a lot of narrators, but is there that many channels that are actually writing their own content as well?
There's a few that do specifically their own stuff, but most do other people's stories, and then occasionally they'll write their own story. I think... Right. Like Creeps McPasta has definitely written some of his own stuff, and they'll do that. But like, I mean, I think we are mostly original stuff and maybe a few classic stories. Like the last video,
I think we're quite careful about what we do in terms of like.
And we've kind of veered away from creepypasta as well in some ways, which is, I think, which is a bit strange because that's where I kind of made my name as a writer in a lot of ways. Like I didn't really know what I was doing, and I submitted my stories to creepypasta websites and No Sleep, and I was lucky enough that they became really popular. But like, so people would start calling you a creepypasta writer, and it's kind of like, well, I'm not really. I think I've actually written like maybe 2 creepypastas, like out of the 50 odd stories that I've published.
Jackie Boy's bringing up the new Halloween film. You saw it, didn't you?
No.
Have you still not seen it?
No, we were going to go and see it, and it never happened.
I thought you ended
up...
I
just assumed that you never saw it.
No, I haven't.
Because you wouldn't go to see it without me, Cam.
No, I haven't seen it, but I thought you'd seen it without me.
No.
Oh, well, there you go. Sorry, Jackie Boy, we can't. Charlie the Chalk says, have you read House of Leaves? Did Mark not narrate that?
No. The interesting thing with House of Leaves is I haven't read it, but I am aware of it, and it is a book that I've wanted to read more so as kind of research, because there was a book that I was kind of working on that was a little bit unconventional in how it told the story, and when I was telling someone in private about this book that I was kind of doing bits and bobs with, they said it sounds a bit like that.
You should really watch that if you're going to make a film about this. Remember this possum?
What do you mean?
We went to one horror film I'm really going to recommend. We went to see one of the screenings of Possum, which is Matt Holness's new horror film. Which is it's an excellent horror film. It's really good.
Matt Holness did Garth Marenghi's Dark Places.
Yeah, he's a great guy, but he did a Q&A, and someone in the audience was like, well, they were all going, they were really, really wanky, but they were all talking about they were talking about like German expressionism and stuff. But they talked about this film recently.
It was true. Like,
was it The Insider or something like that though? Like,
it was true.
The German expressionist himself at a basic level, but
it was there in the film. Like Matt Holness said, I was looking at all this stuff, but it's the way sometimes it sounds really.
But it's specifically what they said was at one point they said, I think it was the film. Was it The Insight? What was the film that they mentioned? Anyway, they were talking about a film from a couple of years back, and they're like, "Yeah, if you're making a film like this, you should really have watched such and such." And he was like, okay, cool. And it's like the guy's made a film. It's fine.
I can't remember, but it was someone in the audience mentioned 2 movies and said, if you're going to make a film like this, you really need to watch these.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like,
fuck
how
off.
Many, how
many films have you made? Fuck up.
Yeah, like
move on. Next.
Yeah. But that film Possum is really, really good. I was well impressed with
Jackie Boy's asking if we've watched Seven recently. I watched it when they added it back onto Netflix. I rewatched it. Good movie.
Is it right? But would it not 7? Did he say?
Yeah.
Like with all the stuff with Kevin Spacey now. Not that I'm saying Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, but Kevin Spacey wasn't actually putting heads in boxes.
Yeah, that's true. Just putting boys in his bed. Sorry.
I don't think he was fussy about the bed, but
so like it's I think it'd be strange. What about you, Jackie? Like, did you find it strange watching it, knowing the stuff that Kevin Spacey's been accused of? Like, does
He
it give
says
a
his
different
piece is
dynamic?
perfectly cast. Do you know what? It's a weird thing because it's kind of like
I didn't see that coming.
I mean, well,
There must have been rumours.
I met Kevin Spacey once in Glasgow.
Really?
Yeah. He was in.
Like, you just bumped into
He was
him?
in the upstairs. There's a club in Glasgow called Carbon, and the upstairs is a restaurant called Bread and Butter, and he was in one of the booth, surrounded by young men.
Right.
And even at the time, I should have been like, but I knew, like, because no one knew Kevin Spacey was gay, really.
Yeah.
Like, there was people that knew, but he'd never officially announced it. But for years,
Nor should you have to.
no, but like for years, almost like a Mandela effect type thing, I was sure that it was public knowledge because I was always telling people that he was, and people were like, no, he isn't, and I was like, I'm sure he came out and said that he was, but apparently not.
Speaking of the Mandela effect, I think I encountered one the other day.
Oh yeah.
So for people who don't know what the Mandela effect is, in the 1980s, there were quite a large number of people who claim that they saw Nelson Mandela's funeral on television broadcast live. They have a memory of this. And in the obviously Nelson Mandela died fairly recently. So that wasn't the case, but there are thousands of people who like absolutely maintain, no, I saw his funeral, like he died during the 80s and I saw it. So the Mandela effect means anything which from the past, a memory seems to have shifted or changed in some way. Now, most people think that it's a problem with how we form memories, and memory formation is really sketchy anyway. But some people, in the more speculative moments, say that you've kind of reality's changed, something is altered. And there are a number of examples of it, and we've talked about these in the live streams before, but I had one the other day, which was the film WALL-E.
Right.
The name of the female robot that comes down to the
Eve.
planet. Right, so you remember it as Eve. Right, my daughter's name's Eva. Right.
No, her name is Eva, though, isn't it? The robot, it's Eva. Is it not like that? That's how she's pronounced it. It's like Eva.
Well, see, we were looking at stuff about it, and people were like, "No, the robot's name's Eve."
Yeah, but I think
Does she pronounce it as
no,
Eva?
I'm pretty sure she says Eva because the reason I know that I used to work for Sony, and WALL-E was one of the demonstration Blu-rays, and I've seen that movie about
I want to watch it
48,000
again
times.
because if I watch that film, and our name is just Eve and not Eva,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Eva.
I'm going to be like,
Steven's saying it's Eva as well.
maybe we're all in the same reality.
I'm pretty sure it's Eva because I remember because she says it in a weird inflection. It's like Eva.
Yeah, that's what I remember.
And then she fucking shoots him. Mandela effect. It's a very short version of WALL-E.
I didn't name my daughter after that, just that I remember that name from it, obviously.
Yeah.
Can we scroll up and look at their film recommendations from people that had seen things?
We can indeed. We have that power.
We have the capacity.
People were talking about Mandy, which I haven't seen yet. Joe was talking about Mandy.
Is that one with Nick
Yeah,
Cage?
I have a bit of a problem with Nicolas Cage. I really struggle.
I have no problem with Nicolas Cage.
Oh, there you go.
No problem. There are some individuals who are they're out on the wire, and because they're out on the wire and they're full tilt, a lot of the time they'll come across as just ham-fisted. Yeah. And then sometimes if
The stream seems to be buffering. Is the stream buffering?
look at your face.
Yeah, look. I know. Stopped at a weird point. Let me just set the stream health. I know.
Look at that. Oh no,
It says good,
back.
but
No, let's get back.
yeah, for a second there it was like extraterrestrial vegetation evaluator. Pretty much true. Door. Oh, we gained new people in the Discord.
Kirsten, I thought you were saying that was a film you'd seen.
No. Welcome to the new people in the Discord.
Splendid.
Yeah,
Come join the Discord.
Funnily enough, we did actually have we had our first spam account join the other day and start posting
Really?
pornography.
The other day, I get sent on Twitter. I get sent like pics of this guy.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, he sent pictures of himself to me.
but bring them up. No. Will we get banned?
Yeah.
What was his vibe? What was he saying?
Think if I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, I think he was some sort of dancer or creative person, and he'd had like censored parts of his body on the photographs.
What, in real life?
Yeah, it's
Wow.
like carrying a bit of cardboard. And needless to say, I deleted them after printing them out.
But did they actually send you them, or was it like a spam account?
Well, I looked at his account, and as far as I could see, it didn't really seem like a spam account.
Well, do you know what? I mean, at the risk of playing devil's advocate...
If you're watching now, thank you.
No, but at the risk of playing devil's advocate, I think there's a lot of women that get unwarranted pictures of men, so it's probably about time we have to deal with it as well.
Yeah.
So, thanks for flying the flag.
Well, I think that's, I mean, without virtue signalling, I think that, like I was like looking at the Twitter feed from a female author I know, and like she was sort of saying that she was just getting, she'd sort of reached a certain point, which was like maybe sort of 2,500 followers on Twitter. And
that's the tipping point. That's the tipping point for getting the weirdos.
No creeps. It's difficult as well though, because some people will look on something as creepy behaviour and it's just someone being enthusiastic and enjoying the stuff that you do, but there are a lot of guys that...
But there's enthusiastic and then there's enthusiastic.
Well, I'm just being enthusiastic.
Yeah, no.
Oh dear, Louis C.K. was just being enthusiastic.
Yeah, he was overly enthusiastic. He was an interesting one though, because there was some women that were like, "Oh, we kind of put up with it," but I don't know. I think you must like. How would you react to that? One. No, probably not.
Yeah, maybe not.
How would you react to that though?
My feeling on that is that there are different. There's abuses on a gradient.
I'm getting ready to kill the stream.
No. What I'm saying is it's different to be if someone rapes someone, right?
Or fucking hell. Standing by.
Or look what but look what like Bill Cosby did, right? That's not the same. That's not the same thing that Louis C.K. did, right? It's twisted in a lot of ways what he did. Yeah.
But still, though, I mean,
and he definitely wielded power when he was doing it. So
of course,
right,
but also, like, if someone asked you permission for that shit and was like, "Do you mind if I just wank in front of you?" You just like,
But from what he did, the fact that he asked permission before he did it,
yeah,
he still wielded power when he did it. But the fact that he asked permission, and then before he became really, really famous, by all accounts, not that he makes up for it, but he tried to apologise to a lot of the women about his behaviour. I think that I think he should still be able to go and do his job. If he wants to still being a comedian, then I mean it's up to people whether they want to buy his stuff or not.
It's very true, but you know, I don't know. I've heard that apparently his return wasn't particularly great.
Well, I heard the opposite. Like I had a lot of people saying like, no matter what you think of it, this is some of the funniest shit I've ever heard.
Well, good on him. I think other people have just like pushed their energy back into Bill Burr more. Good old Bill Burr.
Bill Burr's legend.
Yeah, the chat seems to have gone a bit. Darren, I think we had like a weird. We seem to be okay.
I like the fact that you said it's gone weird. Her.
Well, there's people in Discord, so I wonder if the YouTube chat's actually fucked.
Hold on, I shall check.
Sorry about this, guys.
I shall check, Callum.
Well, the stream's coming up. It's saying good.
No, maybe people have just decided to stop watching us.
Oh fuck!
If I were them, I would do that. I'd be like, I've had enough of this. Are we actually broadcasting?
We're supposed to be.
Has it all went a bit wrong? Hold on, I'll hit play. No.
Oh, well, we're still there.
Still
okay.
On.
Okay, we're fine. Hey, it's Lauren. How you doing,
Hi, Lauren? How are you? Lovely to see you here.
We seem to be having... I think Discord's having minor issues.
Back for me now.
Back for me now.
Everything's good now.
Sorry about that, guys. I had a weird connection issue.
So, did we look at some of those film recommendations? So we were talking.
I think Mandy was one of the big ones, and then people were talking about Seven, and then obviously we started talking about Bird Box, but I think that's fairly fresh, so maybe we shouldn't.
Did you watch Quiet Place?
Yes, and I liked bits of it, but also there's some extreme, like suspension of disbelief. Like the whole baby thing was fucking rubbish.
Do you not think though, with A Quiet Place, that it should have been a really low budget B movie? It was like Tremors. It was like
It cost a lot of money to get John Krasinski, and that ripped.
It was like a low budget B movie would have maybe have pulled that film off a little bit better, I think.
Someone desperate, someone needing the money would have pulled it off better. Yeah, that's a soundbite and a half.
Pick a monster. Watch this. We're 15 people watching. We'll be back down another 10 in a second.
Black Christmas. There we go.
Oh, Black Christmas is a great movie. It came before John Carpenter's original Halloween. A lot of people say Halloween.
Karen Allen.
Yeah. A lot of people say that Halloween.
It's not Karen Allen.
Started
What's her name?
The slasher genre. It's from Superman.
Superman.
What? No. Played Lois Lane.
Yeah, exactly. You should know.
Nah, but I've drank beer. Who's the villain? Who's the monster?
Never opened it.
Oh, for Christ's sake! Right, okay. Dorian Gray.
Oh,
right. From the picture of Dorian
man
Gray.
with the magic picture.
So Dorian Gray can do any debauched act, and he still remains youthful.
Margot
and
Kidder.
strong. Margot Kidder. There we
Thanks for that, Stephen.
And he has a picture hidden where all of his sins are visited upon the depiction of himself on. So his own visage becomes horrible.
Do you ever wonder if you had that portrait, what it would look like?
Yes, big penis. Right, Dorian Gray. Dorian Gray
Okay.
combined with Gonzo.
Holy shit. But do we mean Gonzo as in the Muppet, or Gonzo as in like...
Style of journalism.
Yeah.
Hunter S. Thompson.
I know. Dorian Gray.
Where's my medicine? Where's my medicine? Right. So Dorian Gray combined with Gonzo. So
Shit.
Dorian Gray's well, we've mentioned what his sort of
Portrait
strengths
of
are.
Gonzo.
This isn't a very strong villain, is it?
This is particularly weak.
So I would say, Gonzo from the Muppets, he has a big nose,
Yeah.
so would have a good sense of smell. Plus, he likes to do death-defying stunts.
Mm.
Right?
I think that Dorian Gray was perhaps had an addiction to snuff,
Pick the hero.
which Gonzo would be able to
What
take
are we
quite
going to
liberally.
call in the chat? What are we going to call this monster then? A mixture of Dorian Gray and Gonzo.
Gonzo Gray or Dorian Gonzo. Dorian Gonzo is quite a good name. Difficult to say.
Gone Grey is my suggestion. Gone Grey.
Not bad. We can't let Stephen have all the
Happens
suggestions.
to the best of us.
Just for men. Gone Grey. There you go. There's a little bit ahead for you this time. For those
Well,
that
now we're
were
thinking of a
requesting.
name. Right, Callum, pick a hero. Rummage around. Make it a good one. Santa.
Santa version Dorian Gonzo. Jesus fuck.
Okay, so Santa's powers are...
He can stop time, which is quite a
What
powerful...
do you mean he can stop time?
Right, okay, Michael. So if he doesn't have the ability to dilate time, how can he deliver
bullshit.
presents to all those people?
He's really fast. So it's either that he slows down time.
I was under the
he's really fast.
I was under the impression that
Or-
Santa could dilate time.
Right, there's three
See, there's
options
three
there.
scientific schools of
Right,
thought about Santa.
Either Santa.
One, he's fucked. Number two, he doesn't
he's
exist.
a child predator. Right. The first is that Santa slows down time.
Right.
Slows it down, right?
Yeah.
The second is that he's super fast and that's why he can go to all kids. Or the third is that he's some sort of interdimensional being and he can split off.
So he can be in
into
all places at
more
once.
Yeah, like he becomes a little bit more ominous then, doesn't he? Right. So what will we go for
Oh, shit.
for Santa?
Well, I mean, there are three distinctly different things. I mean, one, super fast is one thing, but, you know, Quicksilver still died.
yeah, but Santa wasn't there to save him.
Being able to be in all places at once.
I never said all places. I just said that maybe he could.
being able to be in all places at once, you can't really touch that. You cannot touch that.
Let's say that. Yeah, which one will we go for? Right, okay. So I'm going to say that like Dory and Gonzo is shit. That's a shit combination. Yes, Michael.
Dory and Gonzo is a shit combination. Yeah, I mean, but the thing is,
Santa is
they're
going
up.
to
Santa's going to fuck up most people on the list, aren't they? Especially if he's got the nebulous powers.
But does he only have? Does he only have those? Does he only have those powers on Christmas Eve?
So you're trying to suggest that the rest of the year, the rest of the
Christmas
year,
Eve,
right? There are other 365 days, 4 days, where he's not. The other 364 days where he's generating presents for every child in the world.
Hey, there's a flower that blooms every 50 years. I'm just saying, sometimes you just have a limited time to reach your peak. Alright?
I don't know how this is connected.
Well, I'm just saying Santa only has one night a year where he's got those powers, surely.
Right, okay.
Otherwise, if Santa had those powers all the time, do you know he'd just rule the world?
Wouldn't he have to exist?
What do you mean?
Did Donald Trump not recently come out and say something like he was talking to an 8-year-old boy or something? He's like, "You're borderline."
Are you still a believer in Santa?
I thought he said he was borderline or something. He was like, "Oh, so you're not 89, so you're a bit borderline."
No, I asked him. He said, "Are you still a believer in Santa?" That's what you asked him. It's good, isn't it? I'm going to say Santa fucks Dory and Gonzo up.
Yeah, I would probably say so.
Right, so P-Ring wins their first one and Santa wins the second one, right? Okay. Alright.
On to the next.
Good night, everyone. No, well, we can do another. We'll do another. We'll do a second one. Go for it.
I'm a little bit disappointed you didn't bring your book about ghosts. Michael got a very good book about the collected history of ghosts.
But it's not. It's by a writer called Susan Owens, and it's basically about the cultural history of ghosts in Britain. I thought it was just going to show you how culture changes and affects fiction, but it's not just that. It does that, so it shows you how history shaped the ghost story in Britain, but it also deals with like real, people making real claims about ghosts and how things alter. Like you go back to the 12th century, and ghosts were very physical things. And then what I found really fascinating was that you have, before the Reformation, you have the idea of purgatory. So because you have purgatory, because Catholicism is like the reigning religion at that point.
While we're going on, to anyone with any ghost experience, get them in.
Yeah, tell us about your ghost experiences. So that because Catholicism was the reigning religion,
it's influenced so much of it.
At that time,
right.
The idea of purgatory, so this kind of limbo in between heaven and hell. You don't go straight to heaven, you don't go straight to hell. You go to this kind of, think of it as like the next room. It's another place that you go to, and you basically get rid of your sins, and then you can go to whichever place you're going to. So like because of that made people think that ghosts could be anywhere. They could seep out of that room, because purgatory is like close to where we are.
Right.
So they're everywhere. And then after the Reformation, where Protestantism took over, they didn't believe in purgatory. So they said that no, you go straight to heaven or you go straight to hell immediately when you die. So because of that, then the Protestant church said you can't have ghosts. Ghosts can't exist because it would go against our doctrine. What's really
M.R. James was fucking raging.
But what's really what I find really fascinating about it is that even though that was the reigning religious idea at the time, and people were really strict about that, people still kept seeing ghosts.
Yeah. Well, is it a cultural phenomenon then at that point?
Or are they real, Cal?
Do you want to hear something funny? It shat me up as a kid. My dad told me that ghosts were people trapped between time and space and dimensions. So he's like, if you encounter a ghost, it's someone that's an echo from another
Is
dimension.
that like that episode of Star Trek where Kirk is in the spacesuit?
Of
He's
course,
caught between
I
things.
have to bring it back to Star Trek. Like fucking Mike from Red Letter Media. If anything can be brought back to Star Trek, but I remember he said that as a kid and it shat me up.
There's
He's like, it's people that are forever trapped between
that would
dimensions.
not. But there are certain things as a kid that would mess you up. There are certain things, concepts, even as an adult, if you actually think about them, you can't get your head around them. You can't really grasp them. You don't have the neurophysiology to actually be able to get at that concept. Like if you try to think about what infinity is, you cannot think about what it is. But like as a kid, if you have these concepts presented to you, you end up like you.
No, God
One
help
of the
him.
finest people I've ever met.
Not quite. But anyway, no, you're right. It's a strange thing, but it's kind of funny how people feed into other people because it's like ghost channels on YouTube and ghost channels on TV are a massive thing.
Oh, can I just say, Callum and I have a guilty pleasure of finding some channels on YouTube,
Particularly colloquial ones.
particularly ones in and around Glasgow.
Yeah.
Who try to do the whole kind of ghost adventures, most haunted type format where they go into supposedly haunted locations with cameras, low light cameras and stuff like that. But some of the ones in Glasgow are hilarious, and I'm not trying to like poo-poo it all.
Yeah.
But like sometimes when you hear someone saying, "What was that?" It just enveloped me.
So there's an amazing one where there's people looking in crypts in the necropolis, the Glasgow necropolis. If you ever find yourself in there, Gary Milne,
Hello, Gary.
how the fuck are
Fine,
you, man?
sir. Check out Gary's artwork. It's first rate.
Our Haunted Project Scotland, Gary, you're in my fucking mind. You know what we're talking about. That's the one.
There was a couple though. It wasn't just there.
Yeah.
We did end up on a few.
But there's also an amazing one where there's this American guy that came across and started speaking to this Scottish girl.
Oh, it was like a collab. Was that
Yeah,
the collab
yeah,
one?
and he came across to the necropolis in Glasgow, and he Michael can better elaborate on this than I can about the Gorbals vampire, which was a phenomenon in Glasgow. If you want it, we probably say this every stream.
Yeah,
but
it was as far as I remember, it was like the 1950s, and it was actually kind of, I think, a direct consequence of like comic books at the time. I think someone did actually trace it back to that. But anyway, there was this rumor that went round the Gorbals, which is this. It's just south of the River Clyde in Glasgow. In this area, it was known for being quite deprived. It's kind of economically deprived, not depraved, and it's kind of been built up in recent years. And you'll actually see there's murals that have been painted on the walls next to a famous pub called the Brazen Head of the Gorbals vampire. But anyway, there were people that thought that there was a vampire in Glasgow, and there was a little bit of a kind of, I don't know if you can have such a thing as a mini mass panic, but people really believed that this thing was there, and people started writing about it, and it's quite sort of fascinating about how like this kind of comical idea in a lot of ways can then sort of take hold. It's a little bit similar to the Highgate vampire. The only difference with the Highgate vampire in London is that there are people who claim that they actually followed this thing into a tomb and actually dispatched
so like a physical account, right?
They
Okay.
actually dispatched it, and there were supposedly people who claimed that they'd been attacked and stuff like that.
And the Holy Ghost.
Yeah, right. Why did you bring up the Gorbals vampire again? Sorry.
Because we were talking about the fact that he on a live stream was like, "Oh, it's bullshit" or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like they did a séance and they were like, "Is there any evidence?" Or no, wait, I think it was either one or the other. But he in a live stream, he either confirmed or denied it. But he's the same guy that got debunked by someone else because he did a séance with a horror YouTuber who faked their own death. And he did a séance with them and was like, "Oh, so how's things on the other side?" And he was like, "Oh, it's fucking rubbish." Right? And then later on, the guy came back and was just like, "You are talking absolute shit."
Right.
Like, the guy almost actually came back just to be like, "Don't fucking do a séance on me."
Yeah, like you get, there are a lot of YouTube channels as well where people are doing like, they're doing Ouija boards and they're doing the spirit box and you know, that cycles
It was
through
big for a while again, though, wasn't
frequencies.
it? What was it?
I mean,
What was the? There was another thing again, not Ouija boards, but
surfboards.
no, not even a type of board. There
I'll
was
fall over a ghost push me.
there was like a weird. There was another thing where they did where I can't remember the name of it. What was it? There was a thing that came.
Right now, I'm just hoping nobody noticed that I just went like that and missed the.
Not bad, you were getting a phone call. Not that long ago, there was a thing where there was another thing. It was people were doing it with pencils. I don't know if anyone in the chat are going to remember it. But
with pencils.
Yeah, there was like
there were like a bunch of different like games.
But this was like within the last couple of years.
Do you know the worst thing?
Steven said when he found out Derek Okora was a fraud, my little teen heart was tried. Mary loves Dick.
Oh.
Mary loves Dick.
Derek Okora was a supposed psychic who was on the British TV show Most Haunted, which really I think people talk about Ghost Adventures in America, but really Most Haunted was years before that, and it was the same format. Really, but the Most Haunted kind of took what Ghostwatch did.
Yeah.
And so
Again, if no one's seen Ghostwatch, if you can get get a hold of it, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's fake, but it's supposed to be fake, but it was made like a live TV broadcast and investigation into this haunted house. But anyway, Most Haunted used to do something that was very similar, only they claimed it was real, and they would go into haunted locations and they would have these low light cameras and they would they hear footsteps and see things and all this sort of stuff. But they had this medium, Derek Okora, and people started, like, he was in it for years, and someone on the show, I think, decided to test him.
Yeah.
So they let him overhear them saying a few things, and just to see, made up things about a location to see if he would actually say it. So one of them was Mary Loves Dick.
Yeah. You guys need to go on YouTube after it.
The best one is that someone mentioned in front of them that there was a spirit called Creed Kafer.
That one I haven't seen.
And Creed Kafer is an anagram for Derek Faker. How amazing is that?
That's pretty good.
And he said it, Creed Kafer. I've got a Creed Kafer here. Good stuff.
Do you know what? It's a terrible thing. There's been some great documentaries done over the years about catching out, though, particularly those people that like psychics that try and get involved in like ongoing searches for people. Yeah. Like, they really need to fucking be caught out, because the fact that they give people false hope or otherwise. There was a brilliant one. It was some. I think she was a news presenter or something, but she'd hunted down one of these psychic investigators, and she showed her a picture of her when she was a kid. And she was like, "Can you tell us where this girl is?" And she's like, "Yeah, she's dead." And it was a fucking bad one as well. Like, her head was bashed in with a rock, and she was fucking ruined. And she's like, "Alright, cool." She's like, "Well, this is a photo of me as a child." And she's like, "Right, I need to go."
You're dead.
Yeah, I need to go. Just walks out.
You're not long for this world.
I know. It's a strange thing. It's the same. I mean, it's the same as you get these psychics in a pub that will sit in for 50 pence.
Every pub you go into, there's always a psychic.
Yeah, well, they have psychic nights and people go in.
You have old guy at the bar who talks to everybody.
Yeah, that's right. And then up the back you get the psychic, including the scampi.
Yeah.
But it's one of those weird things where it's like, I think people just want to hear what they want to hear, and I think the majority of the time these people are either telling them something that they want to hear, or tell them something that they don't want to hear, so they can go and moan to people, and they get like a weird cathartic release from it.
There are certain types of alleged paranormal phenomena which I am agnostic about more than anything. You know, that I think that there's enough to suggest that there might be something.
Yeah.
But there's also enough to suggest that it might be nothing. So it's difficult to decide which way to sort of go on that. I mean, from a scientific perspective, you always have to go with the null hypothesis, which is that a claim is not true until
it's proven otherwise.
Yeah, which is fine. But But I do think that there's certain things that I'm kind of agnostic about, but I do think that we know that cold reading is like a total thing that people...
well, there's a lot you can pick up in people in terms of body. If you know body language, you can dine out in people for a long time.
Big time. And I mean, like when we were talking about Derek Brown earlier on, and
Darren Brown. You've just made Derek Brown. Derek Brown. Mary loves
Mary loves Dave. Darren Faker. Like Darren Brown, like he he's learned to kind of guess sometimes what the first letter of a word is.
Yeah.
By a person's eye movement and facial expression, like what
which is impressive in its own way, but when I think my real problem with it is
not levitating people.
No, but my real problem with it is like people aren't then sitting going, right, here's what we can do with this. It's more a thing of taking advantage of people, and particularly when you have people in a vulnerable state, that's where I have a problem with it. But there's also, like, I think on a previous live stream I talked and said that there was I think there was a girl in my year that had all of a sudden gone and like started becoming a psychic, and I was like, I don't remember her being particularly clairvoyant when we were at school, but it's like, what is the entry requirements to go and do it? You don't have to go to a fucking psychic school.
There are psychic schools, that's the thing. That's what's
but you don't have to go there.
Like, in fact, I think Derek Brown did a show. Old Del Brown did a show about going to one of these places where you get trained to be a psychic. You get trained in like crystal healing and all this sort of stuff. But I think that there's enough for me within some of the actual experimental research, which at the very most would give me pause to wonder about information and how we receive information from each other in some ways. But again, it might just be a lot of people think that parapsychology that looks into these things, that the biggest contribution to science that they'll actually give is that we'll realise that the statistical analyses that we use to figure these things out might be flawed slightly, and so people see significant results and there's not a significant result there with these sorts of things. But then that means that, for example, medicines that people use that have similar significant results, like kind of borderline, and then they go to mass market. It's like parapsychology might inadvertently show that these medicines shouldn't be used.
Do you think that kind of in some way parallels the anti-vaxxers?
No, not really. I think that it's the anti-vaxxer thing is really frustrating, because it's when people talk about like fake news, it's probably it's one of the first examples of online communication which has led to something really serious happening from complete misinformation.
I went on a related note. I went for Boxing Day. We usually go and see my godparents on Boxing Day, and they had some friends over briefly who were
by a Christian.
Carry on. We had some of their friends there at New Year who were flat earthers. That was a tense couple of hours.
People don't get though the fact that like a big part of the Flat Earth Society was that it was a wind up. It was a joke. Yeah. So there are a lot of people who keep it going, and they keep the Flat Earth Society going because they're just at the wind up.
Yeah.
And then there's other people that are just like, oh, this is real. Have you ever seen the This Morning interview between like Philip Schofield and the Flat Earthers?
I have not, no.
Funny.
Because he quite doggedly goes after people, doesn't he? Generally, like if he feels that there's like a legitimate...
Yeah.
Because obviously Gordon the Gopher...
Oh, back in the day, if you're a Brit, Philip Schofield was a boss.
We just hemorrhaged years after you opened those crisps.
Did we?
Sorry, I'm not sure if it's directly related.
But I do think, when it comes to like paranormal things, I do also think that there are different types of knowledge systems, and there are some things that science can get at, but it has limits. And maybe there's some things that other knowledge systems can get at. Maybe there is something there. I don't know.
Joe says, I always imagined that every flat earther was a troll. It's easier to think that way. It's much nicer to believe that people aren't that stupid. But
no, 100%. It's like the guy when Scotland had its referendum on independence, and after it went one way, it went the side of staying in the United Kingdom. There's a guy that like turned up at like the Scottish Parliament in a camper van, and he's like, I'm staying here until we get independence. And there's also two guys in Rutherglen that you see, and a friend of ours.
There's people still with stuff in their windows.
I don't know if we should say this, but a friend of ours who's in the constabulary knows these gentlemen.
Well, as long as you don't name any names.
Yeah, knows these gentlemen, and they're like going into a police station, like handing in like a warrant for David Cameron's arrest and all this.
Great.
There are people who, and as our friend basically said,
lighten up, we're losing people.
Those Noel Edmonds.
Yeah, Noel Edmonds is a funny one. He's another one that like Gary.
Can I finish that point?
Carry on. It doesn't matter. We're fucked now. Anyway.
No,
I'm gonna have one of your crisps.
Fuck you. The point is that there are people who will go to extremes. And like, you know, those guys like handing in a warrant for David Cameron's arrest and all that.
Yeah, good luck to them.
It's like there's just there are people who will go to those extremes rather than, and they might actually have a valid point about something, but then they will like get consumed by reading all this stuff online that totally backs up their point. And that's the same with like flat earthers and anti-vaxxers.
Speaking of which, have you done much reading into these continual radio broadcasts?
Oh, from space.
So it's something like, is it something like 15 billion light years away or something like that?
FRBs, fast repeating.
Yeah.
Bursts, and they found one that's actually cyclical.
Yeah. So it's 6 times, I believe, that they've got like a transmission at 15 billion light years or something like that.
Here's what I think. Now normally these signals that they pick up, especially when there's kind of an unknown origin and they don't really fit snugly into any sort of theory, within like 10 years they then discover that it's a specific type of star,
cultural phenomenon. Social phenomenon.
It's
galactical phenomenon.
Can you say that? No, that it's an actual signal from like a star that rotates in a specific way, and our satellites pick it up, and it looks as if it's strange, but really this is the explanation for it. However, I think if you're an intelligent alien civilization, and you know that maybe at some point your civilization will not be around in the future, right? Or you want to convey just a little calling card to people to say we're here, like, or we were here, you know, that there was an intelligence in the universe, or there was another civilization, or what would you do? And to me, what you would do is you would tinker with stars and like uninhabited star systems. It's like a calling card. So like a star behaving in a certain way could then be observed by anybody from far away, or even some of the. I mean, it's supposedly a cosmic coincidence that the moon. I'm getting into real conspiracy territory here, but that the moon is the exact distance from the sun and the exact size, so that when it goes across the path of the sun, it creates a total eclipse.
Yeah.
This is supposed to just be a coincidence. In my more speculative moments, I do wonder, would an alien species tinker with something early on to let you know, here's evidence of how, you know, that we were here, but like graffiti, like on a wall, but we were here.
I mean, it always goes back to me for like, if you look at Space 1999, right? Right.
Why do we always have to end up at
Jerry Anderson
stuff?
Because we do, right? They knocked the moon out of orbit and that, and they've also previously said but they've also previously said that the amount of energy required to knock the moon in any direction, let alone out of its orbit, is exponential. So, like, how much power would you need to have to physically manipulate the moon, let alone fucking move it out of its...
But if you're a civilization that's been around for thousands of years,
Like us.
millions of years,
Like us.
millions of years,
This guy.
then well, we've not had a civilization. I mean, you could maybe argue our civilization's maybe somewhere between 5,000 and 10,000 years old. Not in terms of like the species age, but just from written history.
Well, that's it.
But anyway, if you've had a civilization that's been around for hundreds of thousands of years or millions of years, then
Jackie Boy says, will we ever crack figuring out the universe based on how long humanity existed for? It's more than 5,000 years, mate, I'll give you that. Fucking new creationists, mentalists.
But
and if there's any new creationist subscribers, sorry, but stick around because you're fucking wrong.
What tonight has shown me more than anything else is I think McCoys have changed their recipe.
But do you think that's linked to the moon?
I had a bag of char-grilled chicken McCoys just before we went on.
Mandela McCoys.
And I'm telling you something.
Right.
That was a canny bag of crisps.
It was good, better.
And these beef ones, I've never tasted
the
so
steak.
much. I've never tasted so much beef on a crisp before.
I know. Science has reached a point now where crisp technologies, or chips, if you're one of those inclined. Cheers.
Our American cousins. Here's to our American cousins.
Boom.
May they long reign supreme.
Pretty much, let's be honest. We fucked it up. After they chucked the tea in the harbour, we were fucked.
Yeah.
It's true. No, I'd like to think Mike's missed it. Another civilization put the moon there and McCoys have upped the beef. There's like two things to take away from the stream.
Synergy. They are. But the big question is, are they connected?
Yeah, that's it. I know. The McCoys moon is brought to you by McCoys.
The moon being moved on its own isn't proof, but when you combine that with the fact that
McCoys,
that McCoys have upped the beef,
intermittently flavourful. I know.
the McCoys have upped the beef.
Was that not an original Star Trek episode? It's like, on the one hand, we have the moon moving on its own, and the other hand, we have
McCoy's up the beef. McCoy's just stirring a big pot of stew, just adding beef into the pot. McCoy's up the beef again. It's got to mean something.
The moon's moved out of sync.
Talk amongst yourselves. Yeah, it's all connected, Cam. It is all connected.
Well, I'm glad you feel that way.
I was going to say I ran out of beer, but I haven't.
Oh, I think that rant lost us about 15 viewers.
The thing is, it happens. It just happens.
Oh,
I was going to get a Burger King burger on the way here.
right, okay, tie this all in.
And turn it into a ghost story. I ate this burger and I just started being followed everywhere by this cow. Where are you off to?
I was going to go to the toilet, sorry.
No, you do that. You do that, Cam.
I'm blowing it.
So earlier on, I asked for film recommendations. Are you quite finished?
I'm still partially ill, thanks for pointing out.
You're still partially ill. I didn't know you
Yeah,
were.
me capable of immune system that can devolve everything.
What about TV series? Has anybody been watching any? I watched the first episode of that Designated Survivor the other night, so I thought it sounded like an interesting idea. Do you know that one?
Designated Survivor, I've heard of it, haven't seen it.
Kiefer Sutherland, the idea that when they have like the... Alright, see you later, Callum, when you go. Alright. So the idea of Designated Survivor is that they, when they have the sort of yearly address in Washington DC from the president and all of the different political representatives are there, that they always have one person who's really far down the chain of command, sits in this secure location just in case something happens, and in this case something does and it's wiped out, and this kind of no-name guy has found himself president of the United States. Anyway, I watched the first episode of it. This isn't a very good story. It didn't start well. The middle kind of sagged, and it ended poorly. But I'm not sure if I'm going to continue watching it, to be honest. It was okay. Anybody seen it? Maniac on Netflix. Jackie Boy says, I have not seen it. Is that the David Fincher one? Now, Jackie Boy asks about the new Black Mirror episode. Is that the Bandersnatch one? You're not going to believe this. If you follow my stuff, you would think that Black Mirror would be right up my alley. I haven't watched any of it. I really should.
What are you talking about?
Plus, he looks a bit like Charlie Brooker, who wrote Black Mirror.
Are you talking about the new point and click adventure?
Right, we've had char grilled chicken.
Right.
We've had the beef. Let's try some bacon sizzler.
I'm just trying to see if I can see the moon currently, but
Let's try some bacon sizzler. Now, have they upped the bacon? That's what I know.
I just realised recently...
They have upped the bacon.
Jesus Christ, they've gone all out. I just realised recently we've actually got a ton of gifts for a giveaway that we haven't done. We'll have to do that in the next live stream.
Gifts? I thought you said gifts.
We have prizes rather. We have a ton of prizes for a live stream.
Yeah, it sounds like you're giving away people's gifts.
Assuming...
I thought you said gifts as in like,
no,
you know,
images in the sequence.
Yeah.
We need to see though...
It should be GIF.
GIF is apparently the original thing of it. But yeah, we need to work out whether or not people still want to win DVDs, Blu-rays and UD discs.
I think we should still do giveaways.
Well, they're all sitting there. I should bring them out. There's a massive cupboard full of fucking things I bought for giveaways. I don't know whether or not people actually even want them anymore.
I'm going to go to the little boys' room to talk about.
That's fine. I'll leave you chat.
I was asking about TV series.
Maniac on Netflix. That isn't the
I said, is it David Fincher?
Well, is that isn't the remake one with Elijah Wood, is it?
That's a film, is it not?
I'm just taking everything in. The Black Mirror thing I tried. I think what's interesting about Black Mirror is like originally a lot of it was all written almost exclusively by Charlie Brooker. And it's kind of changed a bit now that they brought other people in. I think the original stuff was really, really strong. And then I think the more recent stuff's been a bit weaker. I can't remember the name of Bandersnatch, is it? The new thing? About a quarter of the way through it. I'm at the bit between jumping off of balconies and going to the psychologist. I haven't got any further than that. I had to stop. Maniac, that's the one with Emma Stone and Jonah Hill. Who there's actually some really interesting interviews with him. If you go and watch, there's like Hollywood's treated him in like a really terrible way, and there's like these weird interviews with him, like actually sitting with people, and they're like, "How does it feel to be like the fat man of Hollywood and stuff like that?" And he's just sitting there, and you can actually see him as like a human being, like collapsing, like while they're saying it. It's a slightly weird thing to watch. Yeah, no, I never watched that, but I know some people were going on about that. There's a ton of stuff on Netflix. There's that. I haven't seen Manhunter yet, or Mindhunter maybe. I think actually is the thing, not the Michael Mann one, Manhunter, but I think Mindhunter is probably the name of the series. There's also a couple other ones that came out recently, but Netflix is a funny one because I think initially when they started out, like a Netflix original series was like a mark of quality onto itself. It was very much its own thing, but now they've realised that they need to produce so much of their own content that in some ways there's still good stuff coming out, but a lot of the other stuff is kind of pretty weak because they need to just produce so much stuff. The Adam Sandler stuff being a particular example of it. I heard that like the new Sherlock Holmes, the Holmes and Watson thing with Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly would like absolutely got panned, and they like as soon as it came out they tried to sell it to Netflix, which I think is probably fairly indicative of what people think about Netflix these days. If they think that as soon as something comes out and it's bad, it fucking dies a death. Same examples like Annihilation, which was the one with Natalie Portman, which was a kind of interesting sci-fi horror film. Initially, there were some cool elements, and it kind of just went to shit later on. The Haunting of Hill House, yeah. Again, a few people have been talking about that in the Discord. I have went to go and view it, which I really should because I have quite a lot of time where I'm travelling, where I've been watching a lot of stuff. I haven't seen that yet, but people have also told me that it starts off really, really good and it just goes to total shit. But again, I feel that there's only so much time available to you, and it's quite difficult to kind of keep up with all the stuff that's going on. There's a lot of stuff to be watched, I feel. Particularly, I mean, even if you want to go back and catch up on stuff, there's continually new stuff being made, so it's very difficult to keep on top of everything. Jesus, what?
You know, your bathroom is always filled with delightful toiletries.
Yeah, but not for the face.
I know, I was going to say that
because that's not my
it's really stinging my face.
Yeah, you might want to take that off because I don't think it's meant for the face.
I'm a bit disappointed though. Sorry, that went everywhere when I said pointed. I don't think the camera went.
I'd watch that because knowing your skin, you're just going to be down to bone.
You know my skin?
Well, reasonably enough.
It's really stinging. It's really, really.
Hey, your shifty bun. That'll be Alan there. Alan.
It's really, really sore. Some was dripped in my mouth as well.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit disappointed though because normally you have this arrangement of hand sanitizers and they have really weird smells to them.
It's good, but that's not what that was for. Clue being in the hand and not the face.
But why would it sting the face?
You look like you've got fucking rabies.
Why would it be okay for the hands and not the face?
You have to ask Jesus on that one.
I'm going to need to wash this stuff off.
Yeah, I would recommend it.
Can't wash yourselves again.
Yeah, we continue to. Kurt Russell as Santa Claus. Yeah, you know what? I did see a bit of that. And do you know what? He actually did a really good job, despite the fact that I think he was completely probably fucked over by a really, really shitty film. But I mean, Kurt Russell in anything, it's a winner. It's a winner. You had to go some to really fuck up a film with Kurt Russell in it. Overboard, you say again. Captain Ron, okay, but the thing is, as long as it's got Kurt Russell in it, there's a redeemable feature in it. Even when the film's absolutely terrible, just focus in on it. Stargate, it's got some weak elements, but it's also got Kurt Russell in it. And you can always bring that back, and you can always redeem some element of it. So it's important to focus in on those things. You know, actually, we've got another set of lights over this side, which we haven't set up yet, but I did find the board to be quite interesting. Have you sorted yourself out?
Why are there so many Buddha things in your toilet?
Why not? There's also a Buddha over there if you feel you've got an issue with it.
I don't have an issue with it. I thought you were an atheist.
I am.
You can't actually be a Buddhist atheist, to be fair. I just thought I'd bring in some of this.
I like the fact you've honed it in. We'll get some cultural icons up there. We'll bring that tiny Buddha into the frame as well.
Beautiful. I can't tell you how much my skin's stinging right now.
Michael, that's entirely brought upon yourself. I don't feel that there's we can maybe set him up there. There we go.
Ah, Buddha.
Yeah. I don't think he's actually visible out with the bottle, but that's fine. Tango and Cash again, classic.
I don't like Tango and Cash.
I don't know, what do you hate about it?
To be fair, it's one of those films that I don't think I've ever watched from beginning to end, and I love me some 80s cheese.
Right.
But
what turned you off to it?
I think I just remember seeing bits of it when I was a kid, and even as a kid I was like, this is bullshit. And I love me some Kurt Russell. Even John Carpenter's Elvis. I'll watch that shit all day.
I would probably say go back to it. I mean, stop or your mum will shoot. Bullshit, but Tango and Cash, go back to it.
You're going to say... I would say stop or your mum will shoot.
Or my mum will shoot.
Yeah, you need to take me to the hospital. My skin's really, really sore.
Michael, this is entirely self-inflicted. I'm in no way taking responsibility for this.
Right, I think... Will we go soon?
Okay.
Before we do, let's do some quick, very, very quick rounds of this game.
We'll do one more again.
Right, on you go. Rummage round. Rummage. That's not rummaging. Christ, Callum.
I know.
Test me.
I think your game's killed it.
Right.
Yet to come.
The ghost, the spirit of yet to come.
What's this?
That's what Dickens actually calls the
Future past.
ghost of
Future?
Future Past is the X-Men film. Callum.
Yeah.
Combined with Oompa Loompas.
Views on Cobra Stallone. Check out Nighthawks as well. That's classic Stallone with a beard and a pair of sunglasses.
Right.
Nighthawks and Rutger Hauer. Right. So we got Yet to Come combined with
Oompa Loompas. Now is that
So-
just a small one, or are there many of them? Imagine many of them. Do you remember the scene from Ghost
right.
when the sort of sinner dies and then all the shadows come out? Blah, and you'll find that was a pretty good impersonation of him.
Remember film Mannequin?
Go back and watch Ghost. I think you'll then play this clip back. I think you'll find that's
If you
pretty
lay the
spot on.
audio tracks over each other, they'll just be absolute perfect. Yeah.
Right. So maybe like if you've got the Ghost of Yet to Come combined with Oompa Loompas, that's
Right.
what they'll be. They'll be like tiny little ghosts of Yet to Come with the hoods.
Right.
Blah! Although I don't remember, I don't remember the ghost from Yet to Come making that noise. I don't
No,
think
not
it says
particularly,
anything.
but
But from the film Ghost, they make that noise. So is it small? Or do they just are they bright orange?
I don't know. I think if you're like a ghost with the ability to see the future, you probably wouldn't be that concerned with your size, would you? Because you've got powers out with that.
Who's he fighting?
Let's bring that up. Marty, how are we doing, sir?
Not having that one. Not having that one. Right.
Splash is terrifying. That's true.
The Kremlin.
Right, so we've got the ghosts of Yet to Come combined with what?
Oompa Loompas.
Oompa Loompas
Fighting
versus the
fighting
Kremlin
The Kremlin.
versus the entire might of the Russians.
Yeah. Who's winning that? Now bear in mind, the Oompa Loompas come from an island, if I remember rightly. They have their own nation too.
I've never read the book of
As far
Charlie.
as I remember, they have their own nation as well. And Willy Wonka tries to save them.
So that's why he didn't just
So
say
he
it.
slaves them.
Yeah, he didn't. Yeah, I know. Fucking gives him a job.
Yeah. But you've got the Ghost of Yet to Come, which is the power to show you the error of your ways,
Right.
what's going to happen to you in the future. So,
Which would be interesting with the
visit
Kremlin.
Vladimir Putin. Or do you think he just would not give a fuck?
I think he's a black belt in judo, and he'd probably not fuck out
Do
the
you think
ghost.
Vladimir Putin just walks about with his top off constantly?
Yeah, I think nips out are at least 78% of his time.
I'm going to say I think the Kremlin wins that one. Right,
Well,
do another one.
I think the Kremlin wins any of these things.
No,
I mean,
that's not true. That's not true. I bet the Kremlin wins.
sorry, Kremlin. Fucking yeah.
This one, right? What have you
The
got?
stream will be down before you know it. All right, Blake's Ghosts from Blake 7.
No, from the fog.
Blake 7.
Cross with Donald Trump.
So they both got an agenda. Right.
Right, Blake's Ghost, Donald Trump, cross with Donald Trump.
Jesus.
We're going to build a wall. A wall of mist that's going to stop no one. Right, so Blake's Ghost from the film The Fog.
Combined with Trump.
So,
Combined
right,
with
right.
versus Jack Burton. Oh.
From the film Big Trouble in Little China.
Right, okay, so we got Jack Burton versus Donald Trump's ghost.
Yeah.
Jack Burton is the winner in every scenario because you know what? Jack Burton has a great deal of experience fighting the supernatural.
It's all the reflexes.
That's it.
What? Right, a Donald Trump.
And he never drives faster than he can see.
But it's like Donald Trump. It's like Donald Trump can just appear in the fog.
Yeah. But still, he's got to fight Jack Burton.
Pick another one.
Right. Quite happy to.
What have you got?
Candyman. The Candyman can.
Candyman can.
Combined
Goes
with
Big Bird.
Big Bird's right. So the Big Bird Candyman, so he's got the advantages of an open rib cage combined with the fact where he's tall and yellow.
Children trust him.
Who was
Fights.
Who did Fights? That ball's a bit more anemic.
No, actually, this one.
Arnie from
Any film.
Sorry, you guys can't read this, but this is Arnie brackets any film.
Yeah, like any.
Okay, so Candyman
right.
combined with
Big Bird.
Candyman combined with Big Bird versus Arnie from
Big Man.
Now you've either got to say Terminator or End of Days.
Right.
I mean, like, because in End of Days he beat, Gabriel Byrne.
Junior.
Yeah. Arnie from Junior
Just
versus Big Bird combined with Christ.
I actually think that Candyman, Big Man.
That's a tough combo.
I think Arnie would be fine as long as he didn't say Candyman 3 times into a mirror.
Yeah.
Big Man. So he's called.
But
Big
what
Man.
if he made two logs that could swing together and crush somebody like a Predator? I mean, that would probably still kill Candyman Big Bird off.
You could maybe have the mirror in between where the two logs would come in. Boom!
I can see Arnie being like, Candyman. just to do it. So unfortunately I could see him a Running Man Arnie.
Choke on this. Right, okay, another one.
Before he was Sub-Zero, now Plain Zero.
Right, another one.
Okay. We're slowly pulling the viewers back. Zombie Hugh Laurie.
Right, now this is my point. Have you seen the original Dawn of the Dead?
Yes.
Right, so you've got the two main characters that are in the police at the start of it, right? And they are like going around the neighbourhood shooting all the zombies and all that, and then they're just like.
Do you mean the other guy looks like Hugh Laurie?
Yeah, he looks like Hugh Laurie. He looks exactly like Hugh Laurie. It's not
the
just
guy that ends up in a wheelbarrow. Yeah.
Oh, do you know what? It's not him. It's the pilot.
Yeah.
It's the pilot. Sorry. Aye,
because he gets bite in the truck. Right.
Still zombie Hugh Laurie, right?
Zombie Hugh. So the guy that's the pilot who trains everyone else how to fly.
Right. Dick Jones. It's combined.
Right.
Zombie
Hugh Laurie combined with Dick Jones.
No, I was going to say zombie Dick Jones. Not zombie
who Alan is saying is Stephen in Dawn of the Dead. The character's name is Stephen. Versus McCready. What? How can McCready be a... So, are you under the impression that McCready turned into a bad bastard?
No, he's the hero.
Oh, he's the hero? Alright, okay. So, McCready versus... again, it's another Kurt Russell character. I'm biased. I can't say that he doesn't win.
Yeah, that's not a very good combination, is it? Like you've got the zombie Hugh Laurie combined with Dick Jones, who's just basically a capitalist. Right?
I work for Dick Jones.
Dick Jones!
The zombie just...
It's the big arms with Dick Jones just falling. Oh,
that's a beautiful thing.
What's the whole point?
I know, because it's like all the special effects in that film are amazing. Also, I would say there was a project called Our Robocop film, and one of the scenes that was remade absolutely perfectly, the bit where the guy's shooting all the dicks off.
That's one of the most amazing things.
Go and find that
R-rated version of it.
Yeah. Go and find that scene. It's on Vimeo. It's absolutely fucking incredible.
I agree with you. McCready's going to win that every time. Right? Okay.
This is the last one.
No, it's not.
It is.
No, it's not.
Wolfman combined with
Willy Wonka.
There's a slightly strange amount of... okay. Right. Wolfman combined with Willy Wonka. So not only is he a kind of...
Maybe he's a normal guy.
Full moon.
Then the full moon comes out and all of a sudden, top hat. And
but the thing is, does he turn into Willy Wonka or does he turn into the Wolfman? This is the question we need to get this debate
Who's he
answered.
fighting? Who's he fighting? Wolfman Wonka.
So the Wonka
Wonka
Wolfman,
man.
the Willy
Who's the-
Wolfman,
Who's the Wonka man?
the Willy Wolfman,
Right.
Chris Hansen.
Right.
Oh, just take a seat over there.
From To Catch a Predator. I'm going to give that to Wolf. And Willy Wonka's pretty impressive. Right.
Yeah, that's true.
Last one.
Okay, I'm gonna dig deep for you guys. Dracula. Is that the only one?
Daniel Day-Lewis.
There will be blood.
Fighting.
Indiana Jones. Oh fuck.
I've got to give it to Indiana Jones.
Well, you'd say that because I'm a massive Indiana Jones fan, but Daniel Day-Lewis playing Dracula.
No, he's not playing Dracula. Daniel Day-Lewis is a master of disguise.
Playing Dracula.
He's
Daniel
a master.
Day-Lewis.
He's master of disguise.
Drink it up.
Some people would call him an actor.
Yeah,
he's a master of disguise.
that's true. He's a very good shoemaker by all accounts. You never heard that story?
No.
Daniel Day-Lewis disappeared before he did The Phantom Thread for a long period of time, and a couple of other films. And at one point he went and became a shoemaker in Italy for a long period of time. And now that he's retired, he's just gone back to shoemaking.
Well, I think this live stream's been a success.
Good to be back.
Good to be back. Confetti.
Michael's hunger's
back.
reached a point.
Ghastly Tales, yay!
You're not going to have to clean that up.
Thank you to all of you for tuning in. Every time we have a live stream, we say next time we'll be more organised. This time I'm going to say next time we'll be less organised.
Yeah.
And we've got some good stuff coming up, some more audio productions, and we've got some documentaries and films and loads of good stuff. 2019, it's going to be a ghastly year.
You're the beast. Goodbye, everyone.